gonna steal your sunshine and I'll shit on your parade. Don't get me started on doing Michael Caine. My opinion matters, yours will fall in last place. I'm not shutting up and you'll be learning my name. Fifth in the family, but first in my mind. 1 out of 10, but I'm ranking just fine. We've only got now, there's no afterlife. Look, Mom and Dad, I'm just speaking my mind. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. Everyone's coming on Kyle tonight. Wait, what? No, nobody's coming on Kyle tonight. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shoot up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Everything's coming up Kyle tonight. You can't shut this mouth, but you're welcome to try. I only stop talking and drink, smoke, or eat and cry. I'll never shoot up, gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die. Gonna talk till I die.
All right, guys, we are live here with episode 19 of season 3 of Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. Thank you all for joining us live. Thank you all for joining us in the future. If you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher, just know that it is a visual podcast as well.
Yes.
I notice when I listen back, sometimes there's like a 8-second gap between the end of the song, and that's just because Justin puts in energy to his artwork, and we want to show all the goddamn video. So watch on YouTube. You can watch the whole goddamn video, and you can also chat along with us, and we will, go back and forth with you as always. But I've already said his name, so might as well introduce, as always, Mr. Justin Olimpado. How we doing today, brother?
Good.
It was good. Right before we jumped live, we were discussing in that opening. At some point, I step in some I'm hoping, it's animal of any sort. It could be a human.
Unless Zach's running outside and taking just shits
I stepped
randomly.
in a piece of shit, and I'm walking in the house, and Justin's just like, "Oh, you got a leaf on your foot." And I went, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not coming off." I'm like trying to kick it off, and I went down full hand to just pull the leaf off, and got a full hand of this greenish brown shit. And it was really fucking stinky. It definitely wasn't cat. It definitely wasn't deer. It was definitely poo, though. That's all I know. It was definitely poo.
You got a Hey Brother from you.
Oh, hey brother! Joining us right now is my little brother Keith Mocha. It's funny that says Keith Mocha. It doesn't say Colorado Jones.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's always been like that, but I've never really. I just always think Colorado Jones because that's his birth name.
Yeah.
Kojo. So Zach is finishing up our weekly single. We're starting off our 5 weeks of Christmas. And so he's finishing that up. We didn't do fucking vocals until 8:15. Took 15 minutes, but
there was a lot of MIDI stuff going on.
So much. And then I kept whistling along, and he kept going, "Oh, that sounds good," and adding stuff in based on me whistling. I'm like, no, I just thought that was a cool thing to whistle to.
I am excited to see what ends up.
Oh, yeah, no, this is going to be fucking awesome. It's going to be weird. The lyrics are strange. We'll get to that all in a little bit once Zach joins us. Joining us as, not as always, but in addition to Zach shortly, we do have two very special guests in-house. We are joined by Mr. That's his first name, Dom Trimboli, and Dennis Andreevich, correct? Is that the correct pronunciation?
It's my middle name, but
yes.
Dennis Protsouk.
Protsouk.
Yeah.
I always just see Dennis Andreevich. So Andreevich is it a rolled R there?
That's just to avoid, employers and all those people.
I get you.
Just so people can't, search.
Yeah, I always do your dad's name, like from the sign, and I was just like, oh, maybe there's just like a thing and culturally that I don't know that you have a different name.
See, I live in my dad's shadow, so I gotta differentiate myself. So I use my middle name. So.
Wonderful. I use a totally fake made up name so people can't find me, but then I post clips to a show called Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up every single week, so I'm not doing that good of a job hiding from anybody.
Just so you know, Slacky said that you answered the age-old question, does a bear shit in the woods?
A bear does shit in the woods because Zach is a bear.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me get this straight.
Yes.
Your middle name is Mocha.
No.
And then your last name is Won't Shut Up.
Won't Shut Up, yes. There we go. It's Kyle. It's actually Kyle Mocha Won't. And the last name is Shut Up. Mocha Won't.
Kyle Mocha Won't.
Kyle Mocha. It's part Wookiee. Kyle Mocha Won't Shut Up. And yeah. It's pretty good. So this week we're gonna be doing things we usually do. We're gonna be tasting some beer. We're gonna be playing some music. We have a featured artist, another featured artist from Australia, which is fucking awesome. So we're gonna get into all of that shortly. But I did want to discuss something that I thought was kind of funny. He's here. That's what I think is kind of funny. That is extra funny, actually. I just like when you sit down and get a nice shot of your ass and no one else can see it. I always appreciate
plenty of... If you're listening to the show, you know me. You've definitely seen my ass
You
before.
definitely have. You definitely have. And that ass does have a name. It is Mr. Zachary. It was like a 5-stage open there. Storming. That was a lot to open. Them hams, man. Them hams.
One
go
was me
hams on
breaking
them.
my finger.
Oh, that's...
Nail.
Fuck that. That sucks. That's not good. All right, so one thing I wanted to talk about, there was that Steelers game this week where the guy got hit over the head with the helmet. Did you guys see all of that?
Yes,
I didn't
all
see the
memes.
actual thing, but I've seen
all the memes are going out.
There was more going on there. There was nut twisting too.
Oh, really? I didn't hear nut
Yeah.
twisting. But I saw probably one of the greatest article headlines from The Onion in a while, and it was basically the opening of the article says, apologizing for laying down the ruling in haste without examining all the evidence. Commissioner Roger Goodell has rescinded Myles Garrett's suspension after attacking Steelers quarterback Mason Rudolph with a helmet after review footage clearly show Rudolph's punchable fucking face. So it just made me think, is there anybody that you know we don't have to go personal, is there anybody you know like in the celebrity world that just has a punchable fucking face that if you saw them you would just be like, God, I gotta fucking punch you right now? No, Christian Slater is it to me. Like, I love him. He's great in movies, but as he gets older, I thought he was going to look more like Jack Nicholson, but he's just like...
Is he shrinking down to Joe Pesci?
Yeah.
You want to punch an old man?
Yeah, I want to punch an aging gentleman.
What's the fucker's name from 30 Seconds to Mars?
30 Seconds to Mars. Jared Leto.
Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Jared Leto just has a punchable life. Just all of it.
Everything.
Just the whole fucking
thing. If you really want to at least live vicariously through somebody else, just watch Fight Club where he gets the shit kicked out of him.
He loses all his teeth. And just like,
Where'd you go, crazy boy? I love that fucking scene.
Yeah. I hate him.
Jared Leto, Zach, anybody that you just look at and you go, I want to punch that person in the fucking face that's not in this room, and that is slightly famous.
I say let's just go with in this room.
Okay, in this room. Who is fine, we'll do that. Who has the most punchable face in this room? Yeah, no, it's me. It's me.
You already have a fucking black eye, dude.
I already do have a black eye. And at some point, I will go into why this black eye happened, but unfortunately, on air, cannot yet go into what happened to my face. I will say it was a car accident and that I am recovering. But other than that, I per advice from my legal team, cannot discuss it, unfortunately. But when I can, it's going to be a fucking great story. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be uber fun.
Actually, what's happening is this show is getting sued.
Yes. We're getting sued. We're definitely getting sued.
We're getting sued.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about that. Hopefully, probably the season 4 premiere, you'll get that. I don't think it'll be in the next month that it'll all be I'll say the word settled. I don't think it'll be settled in the next month. So we'll see maybe after the new year. Yeah. We come back and explain
Season
all of
4
that. If all of a sudden we come back from the new year and we have crazy awesome equipment, there's going to be a good story to tell. But we do.
Daddy bet on the horses.
All the horses. I always bet on the horses. We do have some nice beverages that we got to start drinking. So, Justin, I think it's time we drink some
I need to
beer.
finish these 2 open hams.
Just drink the hams, too.
What are we drinking? What are we drinking? What are we drinking?
We're drinking beer.
What are we drinking? What are we drinking? What are we drinking? We're drinking beer.
All right. Now, we were just actually learning.
Yeah. About this beer.
We were just learning a little bit about the beer that Justin purchased today. It is Ballantine Burton Ale. Now, it's 11.3%.
Ballantine Burton, you say?
It's only 75 IBU, so it's not. It's going to be more on the maltier side. I'm believing.
Yeah.
But the fun thing is, it is from 2016. And we don't know. We're taking a risk with this guy because we don't know if this was stored properly. We found it in the cooler of of beer time in East Stroudsburg. So we're gonna crack into this, gentleman over there. You've got it. It's the nice yellow label that you're apparently familiar with over there, Dennis. Now you were saying that they started off by making 40s, right?
Yeah, but, well, supposedly. I mean,
Okay.
I remember it in the 40 form from the Philadelphia days.
Okay.
That was the go-to.
Yeah.
Either those or Steel Reserve.
Well, it's 11.3 in 2016.
So it could be.
We're gonna get hammered.
Actually, there was this one little bar in Francisville. I don't know if you remember it, Trimboli, but it was called It's Time. And it was this yellow sign, and it was just like, it was literally just like some local dive bar or whatever. And I remember walking in there one time to get some beers.
Yeah.
And the whole place was pitch. There was no lights on. It was dark, and it was super long. Like the old buildings in Philadelphia are like
it's a long hallway.
They're
like a corridor.
They're narrow,
Yeah.
but they're like super long.
Yeah.
Right? And I go to the back to see this guy in his chair, like reclining with his feet up on top of the bar. There's no other bottles of beer. There's no like taps or what seems to be functioning taps in there. Doors wide open. Doors wide open. And then in front of, and I was like, "Do you guys have beer?" And he's like, he doesn't say anything.
Just
He's
eerily
old
points.
black guy, like sitting with his glasses on. He's watching a black and white movie on like a TV that I didn't even know could even hook up to the normal cable
did you
box.
transport through time? Is that what we're getting
Dude, I don't even know what.
I think
Philly has all kinds of a crazy.
you went through a corridor in time, I believe. I think that's what happened.
Well, in any case, I look where he's pointing, and he points to a cooler, and it's just only Ballantine 40. It's just the green label with the gold like
this,
insignia.
but
No
green and
other
gold?
beers.
No, the
No other
opposite.
beer.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
that's
the
green.
rings were gold.
Okay.
And then the label was green.
All right,
From
hell
what I
yeah.
remember.
Okay.
Now, what is your memory of the taste of that beer?
Awful.
It was bad.
Purity,
Yeah,
body, and
terrible.
flavor
Yeah, I was
themselves.
like, all right, well,
like a mid to low alcohol, like a 5%.
have you ever
or
had
something like
Oldie?
that? Yes, so
Malt
Oldie.
liquor.
That's what we're looking at.
So it was like Oldie.
Because you compared it a little bit to Steel Reserve, Dominic.
Yeah,
you said that,
just
right?
Oh, do you know? All right, did you read the back of this?
I did not read the back. What do we got?
This is it's
Ballantine
basically
Burton Ale was
Dom,
first
I
brewed
think
in
you opened
Newark.
the
All
wrong
right,
one.
first
In the
brewed in
30s.
Newark.
Am I supposed to be drinking?
Aged for up to 20 years in
pronounced
American
Newark.
oak. Newark.
What's your lighter?
All right, so it was aged for up to 20 years, and then somebody else aged it for another 3, and we're drinking it 2016.
More than 11%. It's
than
so
11%.
sweet.
Oh, we got a mess together.
Oh
All
my
right, let's try this
goodness.
out. For old time's sake, for its time.
Oh, God.
It's time.
God.
It's time for
This shit-
Valentine.
Oh my
That is-
God, it
Was it-
smells like butter.
It
Oh man.
It smells
God.
and tastes kind of like a triple, like a Belgian triple, like something you get from a monastery.
This is definitely bad.
It smells like Grandma's
Taste
78
wise,
Chevy.
Man, it's not
the
bad.
aftertaste is
You know
pretty
what? I took off tomorrow. I'm gonna drink this, and whatever the rest of y'all don't drink of this.
All
Because I'm gonna
right.
get
Man.
fucked up.
Yeah.
good. Honestly, it's pretty smooth. I'm not hating it. It's pretty smooth after the first sip or two.
Have you, had that, you ever had that Santa Claus? The
Santa
18%?
Claus? Yeah, no, the fuck Santa Claus.
It's
That
just
stuff
like that.
burns. This tastes like
that, a
Mary
little bit.
Monk wasn't made
Notes
right.
of toasted vanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting that. I'm getting some toasty vanilla.
You know what might help it? The other beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Zach, get ready to open your fourth beer. So, I found, and we're getting into the holiday time, so that's why we went
pass
with
this to Zach.
Greetings.
You can have that.
There you go, Zach. And then we've got here the limited from Southern Tier, the 2 Xmas. It's a spiced double ale brewed with orange peels, ginger root, cardamom, cinnamon, fig paste, and cloves. So give that guy a nice open there.
Yeah.
I just made the quietest open you ever heard.
Yeah. Oh, you opened yours? I didn't even open. Also, the quietest thing I ever heard. Dom is very
This
nicely
smells
not
really
obstructing
fucking good,
the
dude.
screen by crawling across the floor to
This
go wipe himself
smells
off.
really fucking good.
All right, let's give this a smell.
This is a real beer here.
It almost has the pumpkin spice
Sort of.
smell to it.
Fig paste.
What's up, Rich?
Fig paste.
Fig paste.
Is that what's in it?
Yeah, fig paste.
Oh,
Hello,
fig.
Richard. Thank you for joining
What
us,
is-
Richard.
It's that.
It's paste made from fig, I'm assuming. Yeah. It's.
I like
I'm
this,
assuming
dude.
that's what's in a fig Newton is fig paste.
I've
Like,
had
it's
I've
gotta
had
be
fig
something like
Newtons,
that. Yeah.
but I don't think I've ever had a
Straight fig paste.
straight fig.
I don't think I've ever had
Oh,
a
you've
straight
never
fig.
had figs
I've never
before,
had just a
dude?
fig.
They're delicious.
No.
I feel like I've had like freeze dried one. I've just never
Now,
had a fresh fig.
Comparing this to the first one we tasted, the Ballantine.
This is way better than the first
way
one.
better.
But it's going to make that one way drinkable.
Yeah, if I get through this one, that is going to be no problem because this is going to bombard my mouth with flavor,
Yes.
and I'm kind of just gonna, it's going to be like eating a whole clove of garlic right up front, and then eating fucking any other thing, eating fucking snot out of somebody else's nose. You're not going to be able to taste it after all that garlic. So this is snot out of somebody else's nose, and this is the garlic, but in a good way, in a nice way, not like an offensive
I
garlic
feel like
way.
the difference between these two, they're both Christmassy,
Yes,
obviously beers.
definitely.
But one's like, the Valentine's like having your in-laws over and you absolutely hate them.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
one's like just having your in-laws over.
And you're alright with it. Or if your parents are the in-laws.
Yeah.
Your parents are the in-laws.
Yeah.
Your lady's parents are the in-laws. That's the difference between these two beers. I like it. I like it. Well, something that Zach's not gonna like is we have a fifth beer for you. No, we don't have a fifth beer for you.
That's like the liquid version of smoking the clove.
Yeah,
Pretty much, yeah.
It's got the.
I hate it now.
You hate it now. I was
that
saying
you
it's got the
said that.
smell of something like a pumpkin spice, but without the pumpkin flavor
it's
mixed
really
in there.
good, Rich. I
And
like
that
it.
is
Don't
clove
listen to you
usually.
guys.
That when I'm tasting, when I taste anything.
Orange peels,
pumpkin
ginger
spicy,
roots,
that's all in there.
cardamom, cinnamon, fig
Yeah.
paste, and cloves.
You guys
Yeah,
ever
so-
have Malort?
No, but I've heard about a Chicago handshake.
It's ridiculous.
Chicago.
Do you know what a Chicago handshake
No.
is? Okay, so my roommate just went on vacation, and the last stop of his trip across, he went to Vegas, L.A., and then he flew to Chicago. And in Chicago, Malort is like the go-to of locals.
Oh, yeah.
And it is
Jepson's
basically
Malort.
described.
What's
You've
Malort?
tasted it.
Oh, dude, it's
Liquid
fucking
garbage is what I've heard.
It
like
tastes
bile.
It literally tastes like bile. The closest drink to it is Fernet, but think of someone that drank Fernet and then threw it up,
Oh, jeez.
and then you drank that.
I don't know.
And
That
got-
is Malort.
It
What are all
is.
these
It
drinks?
is.
I've never even heard
What
of
kind of-
Lorette.
It is a liqueur
Okay.
that is basically a Chicago-based thing. It's
Chicago.
fan favorite of Chicago. But, everybody outside
You gotta
of
have it
Chicago
with a coney dog.
don't fucking.
That
hate it.
wasn't even fucking Chicago accent. What was that?
Boston
That was
I
a
don't
guy
know,
that
but-
grew up in
but it-
Connecticut.
Yeah.
I just-
This is just a guy that grew up in Connecticut, not knowing which.
Yeah.
He visited New York and Boston frequently, bounce back and forth. But a Chicago handshake is you order a Malort and you get.
A hand job.
No, you get. Although it's almost an old fashioned. It's
I'll drink to that.
There's
I
this,
gotta get another one.
They lube your sad dick with
Yeah.
Malort and jerk you, and
Malort?
That's gonna burn.
it's almost always
that is gonna burn.
an old like 70-year-old
So what's
woman.
the point? What the fuck
wait.
is Malort
So,
made out of? Like, why are we
All right,
talking
it's
about
got
it?
it's got
Bile,
woodworm.
probably.
It's got
Yeah.
woodworm. Yeah.
No,
not
wormwood.
Wormwood. There we go. Wormwood.
And that's
like
absinthe.
absinthe.
And that's like
Yeah,
absinthe,
yeah.
but it doesn't have the active ingredient of whatever is it. So it's like in the same family.
Well, it's
but
the same thing
like
that
an
absinthe
offshoot.
is now.
Yeah.
You can get it with wormwood, but,
But
it
it
doesn't
tastes
have
like
the,
garbage.
Yeah.
But a Chicago handshake is when you order that, they give you a beer for free because the shot tastes so bad.
Yeah.
That makes
So it's
sense.
like
It's
a
like
welcome
getting
to
iced in
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. I was like, so the citywide in Chicago is being assaulted still. Like you were being assaulted.
The first night I tried Malort, I was in Chicago, and I don't remember a lot of it. I do remember the end of the night we got chased by a cabbie with a baseball bat.
Oh, Jesus.
What'd you do?
I guess he swerved by us, and I smacked the car while I was going by.
You did a hey, I'm walking here?
Yeah, and they're like, yeah, we don't play this shit out in Chicago. And there was another thing right before we went into that bar. There was like this like seedy fucking garage right behind it where like all the like gangbangers would hang out. And I was like shit-faced skateboarding out front like a, you know, your typical tourist white boy.
I would say you weren't living in Chicago. You were just walking around Chicago.
Yeah.
Or skating around
and
Chicago.
My board slipped out and like rolled into one of their tires.
And scuffed a tire
and the guy
instead
just
of a tin?
came right up to me and was just like, cut that shit out. But the way he looked at me was just like,
you're about to get
I was like, oh,
minimum shanked. Minimum you're getting shanked.
This was gonna be the actual handshake.
That's the second handshake.
Yeah.
That's a
You
Chicago.
gotta come in my garage.
That's a Chicago
me a
kiss on
hand
the
job.
cheek there.
Oh, and then I lost my fucking wallet and my phone that day.
Jesus.
And I had to get on a flight.
So were you stuck in Chicago giving people handshakes?
I was stuck at O'Hare trying to get on my plane, and they were asking me the most ridiculous questions to like prove my identity. Like, when's your dad's birthday?
Jesus
and
Christ.
I'm like, I don't know my dad's birthday.
And they're like, correct, get on the plane.
they're like, what was your address when you were living in Philadelphia? They asked me that.
Jesus Christ.
I'm like,
because they can access FBI database.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know.
What was the seventh job you had after you worked at Applebee's when you were 14?
Yeah.
Seventh after that? That was my second job.
You had a seven?
What was the
7
brand
jobs at 14? You're on your
After
own.
14, I'm saying. After 14. All right. Well, every week I like to entertain Zach by writing a couple of cleverly worded jokes. So, Justin, I think it's time for that segment that only half of the theme song applies to. I've never told an anecdote. It's just jokes. It's dolphin Alrighty. Alright, this is Zach's favorite part of the show here. He has laughed at, I think, 4 jokes in 19 episodes of this season, so we're doing pretty well so far. Alright, here we go. Chick-fil-A made an impressive about-face this week when the fast food franchise announced they would no longer be donating money to any anti-LGBTQ organizations beginning in 2020. It's pretty impressive for them. Unfortunately, they still plan on making all those shitty chicken sandwiches. Their food sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there once and I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, their sauce is amazing, but it's just honey mustard and barbecue.
I don't
really
that.
like the sauce.
I don't like that they're like super hardcore.
They went from Chick-fil-A to Chick-ful-Gay.
Oh, better joke writer over here. All right.
No, wait. Or you'd like to soak in that chicken sandwich.
Can it be administered anally?
No, get it. They're Mormon.
Yeah.
The sign at their door should say "Chicks Only."
All right, we're gonna keep it in the kind of the same vein here. Evangelical pastor and TV celebrity Joel Osteen had Kanye West as a guest at his church this week, and if you didn't see it, in front of the entire congregation, Kanye claimed to be the greatest artist that God has ever created, and added that he is working for him now, with a capital H, him now.
Yeah.
So I guess that clears things up. Prince, John Lennon, and Jimi Hendrix were actually all agents of Satan. Go Satan! Yeah! Yeah, God's losing.
You know,
Kanye is the greatest artist. He
True
legitimately... And then he stopped somebody who was like shouting out like in agreement with him and was like, listen, I have a very active brain, and when you shout out things, it kind of throws me off. So if you could, I'm trying to let God speak through me to you. Legitimately, he said, I'm trying to let God speak through me to you. And he was wearing like a mock turtleneck and like a blazer. He looked like he just went into Joel Osteen's closet, grabbed some clothes, and walked on stage.
But to his credit, have you seen one of his grandiose church services that he has on Sunday?
Yeah.
Joel Osteen.
No,
Kanye
West.
Kanye. No, I've not seen. I've seen the Joel Osteen
They're pretty
ones.
impressive, and And the way that he incorporates music and everything, like, I mean, I'm not a big
It's
religious
well orchestrated,
guy, but I'm
is
just
what
saying,
you're saying.
But he gives. I mean, it's his way of like giving back to whoever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like tens of thousands.
If he had done more of that and less of that new album, it would be.
No. If he did more of that and shut the fuck up.
Yes.
You know how I feel about,
well, he will be forgiven in the kingdom of heaven.
Yes. Well, he's already forgiven.
Well, about the new Kanye stuff and Chick-fil-A, I feel the same.
Yeah.
I'm not really into Jesus like that, so it doesn't do it for me.
It doesn't do it for you.
Jesus is in you.
All right. Well, then this is what I'm gonna say. Last joke. Last joke has nothing to do with Jesus. Nothing to do with Jesus. Here we go.
God.
All right. So, Democratic candidate and South Bend, Indiana mayor Pete Buttigieg made headlines this week when polls from Iowa put him in the lead over Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and former Vice President Joe Biden. The news that Mayor Pete was on top came as a shock because he's so clearly a power bottom.
That was low.
Yeah.
That was the
Come on.
That was
His partner is like a little bit bigger of a dude.
Trigger warning. Homophobia.
Not homophobic.
I'm kidding.
I think Pete's got a booty that can fucking support the power bottom.
It's
I
his
think
name,
he's rocking it from the bottom there. And he's very pragmatic about it as well. I think he's very pragmatic about it. All right.
as you should be about.
And he supports the police.
And he supports the police. And he's a
Wait, the band?
Classic. I hope he supports the police. I enjoy the
That's
police.
where I draw the line. If you don't like the police,
If you're not a Regatta Del Blanc person, get the fuck out of here, all right? I don't. If you don't
Sting's
like
the
them,
man.
then I don't give a fuck what your
Yeah.
thin line is.
Oh fuck! I inherited a record collection. this
Sting's
summer.
the man.
The
Police do
complete
stings.
Police
We're
catalog. I
fighting
love
against
it.
the man.
Shit!
Oh my god!
This is some weird shit.
Illuminati!
Where's our conspiracy music? Oh no! Oh no! All right. So as I was saying before, we do have a featured band this week.
Yeah.
So the band that we are going to be playing a song from is called The Great Emu War, and the single that we're going to be playing is called Port Royal. So a little explanation for us Americans, since they are from Melbourne, Australia. The Great Emu War is an actual war officially that happened in Australia post World War I, before World War II, around our Great Depression. All of the veterans from World War I in Australia were given the option to take land that they could become farmers on. So they did that, but when they started growing all this lush land and all these crops, it affected the migration of the emu. They decided to stop going all the way to the coast where the food was, and they went, oh, we only have to travel this far, and they would eat up all the crops. So after years of dealing with the emu destroying their crops, they went to instead of the agriculture department, they went to the military, and they said, we need to do something about these birds. And they're like, well, it's our like national bird and blah blah blah, all this stuff. They didn't care. One guy took charge of it, the guy who was the head, like the secretary or whatever they call him, of their military, and he went to war with the emu.
The toughest fucking guy in all Australia,
to war
mate.
with the emu. And literally assault rifles, like full blown, just going to fields and trying to lay them down, shooting them.
Murdering, just
and then
blasting.
they said that there were 20,000 emu, and in 4 attempts, 4 different missions that they went out, they only killed 1,000 of them because the emu outsmarted the military. Right? They outsmarted them, so it is a war.
Fucking praxis right there.
The Australian military, a small, very small portion. I think it was like a handful of people were actually doing this, but sanctioned by the military. It is a war that they lost to birds. Yeah. They lost a war to birds. So the band is named after that. And then Port Royal, the name of the single, is actually a brand of tobacco that they favor down there. So a little bit about the band themselves. They're a 3-piece, again, from Melbourne's pub and dive bar scene, led by frontman guitarist PT and bassist Christine. As he says, we swagger into parties all bluesy with a half-drunk bottle of bad ideas and a semi-constant cloud of smoke. Port Royal was written on a couch out in front of PT's house on New Year's, and around 4 a.m. on New Year's morning, after a party guest passed out in his bed a whole 6 hours after this New Year's resolution to quit smoking tobacco. So it's just all about him trying to quit smoking tobacco. So if you enjoy the music and want to check him out on Instagram at TGEW Band. Again, this is The Great Emu War. The single
What sound does
Port
emu make? In my mind, it's
Good night, mate.
I think it's a shrieking noise. Yeah, they are pests. It's
They're like, they go like, I'm from Melbourne.
Scary. Yeah. They're like, hello.
I am from Melbourne.
All right,
Why
so
don't you
here we
chuck
go.
it in
Hold on.
Here we go. Port Royal by the Great Emu War. Not yet.
Oh, this is the emu noise. This is what an emu sounds
Emu
like.
noise?
Oh, usually I think they go
Sounds
like,
like my
yeah,
stomach now.
no.
Talk. That's what they would sound like.
Yeah, no.
All right, so let's jump
you guys
into the
totally
single.
talked all through it.
Yeah,
That sounds like microphone noise.
That did sound like
pretty
microphone.
much.
Like wind.
Pretty much.
All right, guys, we'll see you in a couple minutes to discuss our Brunch Weekly original single. Enjoy the Great Emu War.
Oh, it's like,
Well, I got cigarettes on, cigarettes outside. They pile up and reverse what I done to that poor old bottle of wine. And I smoked up on what I could, thought not to waste, not to be rude. My parents taught me to be good. I guess I should. But I just wanna hold your hand, pretty thing. Feel my bones between your bones. And I just wanna get my fill, and I just want to get my fix. Never quite thought it would come to this. I guess it did. But I guess it did. But I guess it did. Cigarettes on, cigarettes outside, and I will not claim on the blame, but we both know they're mostly mine. And I smoked of them what I could between the breaks that the habits took. I got taught better than I do. But I just want to hold your hand, you pretty thing. Feel my bones between your bones. And I just want to get my fill, and I just want to get my fix. Never quite thought it would come to this. I guess it did. But I guess it did. But I guess it did.
All right, there you have it, guys. The single from the Great Emu War. Port Royal. I hope they listen and just pull a clip of you doing that and put it in their next single.
Yeah, that'd be
I mean, as we were just kind of saying,
on that shit.
They definitely nailed it with the smoky, half in the bottle, bluesy feel. Like that is definitely. Sure. Dom, you were saying kind of had like that Strokes or White Stripes. You were saying White Stripes kind of feel, but just for me, it's that with like a little bit more of a lounge feel to it.
Yeah,
so definitely check them out. They're friends of our former, or our past, not our former, probably hopefully in the future as well. Our past featured artist. Jurassic from Melbourne. Yeah, we've gotten, I think it's our third Australian band.
Yeah.
Overall, that is our fourth or fifth out of country. And we do have a band from England that is going to be releasing a single in December that we'll be premiering as well. So just keep an eye out. We're trying to expand all over the fucking globe. I mean, we're just trying to expand to Australia, which is as far almost as way as you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anybody in like Thailand or anywhere in India, if you guys have music, like we'll conquer that part musically as well. But really focusing on lower Western Australia. And then we just
have to have a massive tour with all the Australian.
Yeah, we're just gonna go to Melbourne
bands.
and have some couches to sleep on. That'll be the good thing.
Yeah,
that'll be the great part about that.
Work.
But yeah, check them out again. Their Instagram at TGEW Band for all information on releases, upcoming shows as well. Zach, how you doing on the beers?
I need to talk about it.
Okay, talk about it.
How deep are you guys into the balls?
I am 3 sips in. You are one and how many in?
I'm a half into this one.
And you already finished the 2 Xmas.
I finished 2
And
Xmas.
have both of you donated your Valentines to Zach's cause?
Okay, I wish
Zach's gonna be.
It tastes like an open them.
Yeah.
This is special, and I would like.
You know what it tastes like?
It's special.
They have more at beer time.
This is some special shit.
No, do you know what it tastes like? It tastes like mother's milk, but after mother got bukkakied.
Oh, okay.
For like $20.
All right. I don't know that taste, unfortunately.
Whose mother?
I'm guessing the taste. I would have never known that taste either. I swear to God.
You're
doubt
telling
you're
us
swearing.
this tastes like semen coated titty milk.
All right, so semen-coated titty milk.
It doesn't.
Zach.
This is special.
Zach can vouch for you.
Okay?
It's special.
You said that with such fucking
is
firm stance.
He's a poet. He's a poet.
I mean, I said before
I don't
that
mind
it kind
it.
of has.
I really don't mind it.
I
I'm
don't
still
mind it either.
drinking.
Where did you get this?
It was at beer time.
There's one more 6-pack.
We need to get. We need to go. I'm gonna go get it in the morning.
I'm saying
In the
go
morning,
right
they
now.
might have discontinued that one.
By the morning.
No, there's one more 6-pack.
One more 6-pack from
Hey,
2016.
I'm gonna save it for next year.
I would say I'm interested in seeing what this year's would taste like, if they
special.
still make it, what the difference is between 3-year-old and new.
We can't save them; they're already open.
They're already
There's
open.
There's one that can be.
But I'm saying
saved.
these are already 3 years old.
Save it. We're saving it.
All right.
Bury it in the yard.
Along with your gold? Jesus.
No.
Now everyone
with
knows
the
where your gold is in the yard.
My gold's in my teeth.
All right, so as always, every week we write a Brunch Weekly original single. If you're joining us for the first time and you've never heard about this, basically what we do is we start around 5, 6 o'clock every week, and we go right up until we are live, and we write, record, mix, and master a brand new song from scratch. We will have ideas for things going into it. Once in a while, Zach will have a riff or two planned out in his head, or maybe he's fucked around on the acoustic or the piano. But we haven't recorded anything.
I'm always fucking around on those instruments.
You're always fucking around on those instruments.
Yeah.
And it's a very dangerous thing to do when you're driving a fucking lawnmower, to be playing guitar, but you do it.
Playing it in my head while I'm making them. I'm making the fucking songs while I'm doing other things. In my brain.
I hear you. You can
Got
multitask.
so much, the best thing ever is that we do this. Like, my brain.
I agree. The best thing in the history of anything ever is that we do this.
No, I mean,
it's a creative process.
I agree.
I say, don't take
It's
it
so
away.
much fun.
I think it's the greatest
so
thing
much
ever.
fun.
Oh,
It's
it is
the
so
most
much
fun
fucking
thing.
fun. And
we made a fun song tonight.
This week we wrote probably the most fun song we've definitely done this season, maybe ever. You guys can be the judge of that. Zach, why don't you tell us what the idea behind the song, what your approach to writing this, and again, we are going all Christmas for the next 5 weeks. So what was your master plan?
I was just listening to a bunch of funk and weird stuff.
Okay.
And I hadn't yet decided what we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But then I was thinking about the tambourine and how it sort of sounds like sleigh bells.
Yeah, it's got that feel. And that's one thing we don't have upstairs, our sleigh bells.
Yeah, I know.
We probably need to grab some before the end of this 5 weeks, yeah.
At least to redo a song, maybe.
Yes.
But no, there's Home Goods. It's right across the bridge.
Oh, we do have a Home Goods now. Yeah. We're lucky.
I don't never heard of Home Goods.
It's basically like a low...
Bed Bath & Beyond or some shit
crate
like
barrel, like a real low-end crate barrel.
I walked in there the other day. I felt like I should have been in a retirement home. I was that depressed.
Yeah. It's too bright. From outside, it's too bright. I can't imagine being inside there.
That place was fucking mobbed, though.
Oh, yeah, that whole area is mobbed right now.
What's up, Steve?
You were thinking of, hey, Mr. McGlynn joining us in the chat. Thank you. You were listening to stuff, and then when you kind of threw the idea at us, you were thinking like a funky Christmas.
What
you said like Zappa feel,
like Zappa leading Funkadelic on an acid sleigh ride.
Yes, exactly.
Something like that.
And I'll say that we definitely got a lot of that in there. Mm-hmm. We definitely got a lot of that feel.
I'd say subtle hints of the Doors too.
Subtle hints of the Doors.
The writing process it was completely different than we've ever done.
Why don't you go into that a little bit? You just wrote the bass line.
Well, I wrote the bass line in my head yesterday.
Yeah.
And then we did that, and then we did the drums. And then I spent like 2 hours just playing weird synthesizers.
Yeah, there was a lot.
I would play something and turn around and look at you guys and be like, "What do you think of that?" And like,
or you'd be playing something, and then all of a sudden I'd start whistling, and you were like, "Ooh, that's good."
Oh yeah, you had a couple spots where like you whistled something and you hummed after it, and I was just like, "I got it."
Plug it right in. Yeah.
That was nice. That it was like. Well, like I didn't know where to go.
It was
Once
very organic.
Drums,
it was very organic. Yeah. It didn't feel forced in any way. And with something like funk, once you do have the bass and the drums, you can kind of go to the moon with it. Sure. Justin, for the drum side of it, what was? I mean, usually we'll play to a click. You'll play, but you usually have bass and guitar.
Yeah, there was.
With you. So the difference of only playing to a bass and kind of having more creative range there, but then there was creative range,
but there were certain things and elements that needed to be done. You know what I mean? And then there was a certain section towards the end where there was just nothing
at all, like literally no...
play a funk beat and whatever.
Yeah, and whatever.
All right, you know.
Yep.
But more or less just trying to keep it more simple than other shit.
Let that be the background. Let everything else be insane on top of it. Yeah. Zach, what kind of instruments did we? Would you say that's very
Ringo?
Very Ringo. Yeah, it is very Ringo of you.
Ringo's my favorite drummer.
Hey, man, there's no wrong with that at all.
He's a great artist too.
He's great. Ringo is great. I like Ringo.
He's my favorite actor out of all the Beatles.
He's an actor?
Yeah, he's made a couple movies. I think he was in like Joe vs. the Volcano or something like that.
Sure.
Caveman movie.
Whoa! Let's not forget he was the conductor.
He was
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, he was. Holy shit balls! Oh my god, I forgot about.
Never mind.
All right, that's a good. Never mind.
That's a jar.
So what kind of you went into the synthesizer? We started trying to fuck around with like the saxophone sound, but what sounds are people going to be hearing in the background? Because we went all over the place. There's so many different melodies.
There's piano and electric piano.
Yeah.
And then there's that Stevie Wonder clavichord.
Yep.
Sound.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like old school synths. I don't know if it's old school. I don't know. It's just a weird ass sound.
Weird ass sound. I like it. It was a fun
There's
sound.
a lot of weird
it's just a weird ass sound.
Yeah.
Everything else is.
It's a very hard song to try to describe, and then we got to the vocals at 8:15. We're live at 9 o'clock. We did the quickest recording of vocals ever. We did it in about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. No, it was 8:10 to 8:25.
8:25. I thought it was 8:20, 8:35, something like that. Either way,
8:20, 8:35. Yeah. You're right.
So it was a 15-minute spread that we did all the vocals in, and it is lyrically it's a song about Christmas, man. It's just a song about Christmas is coming soon, and I wish it would get here quicker. What did we wind up naming this song? That's one thing I do not know.
Let's call it "Coming Soon."
Come in soon.
Funkin' Little Christmas.
Funkin' Little Christmas. And
wow, it's from the album Christmas 2.
Christmas 2? That's what we're calling the album?
Album is these next 5 Christmas songs are
Christmas 2.
Brunch in Cowabunga, Christmas 2.
Christmas 2, because we did 2 Christmas songs last year.
Yep.
And we've talked about that in the past. We might be remaking one of them, and we'll definitely be replaying both of them at minimum.
And it was a piano setting, not the living room piano.
No, I haven't.
Yes.
It's not in tune. We can,
not in tune,
but it's just not feasible to do a living room piano on a night that we do a podcast song.
Yeah.
Like we can record it and then be able to bring it upstairs and like do stuff with it, but it's just not on a night where
we're built
we
for
actually
speed.
Started at like 6.
Yeah, we started.
You know what I mean?
Late,
this is a real 3-hour.
We did a lot, and you were down here. I mean, pretty much 9:02 or something like that. 9:03. You were pretty much down here within a couple of minutes of us being live. So I mean, it's really a solid full 3-hour.
I do want to do because I've been playing the big piano a lot.
Yeah.
If you don't know, we have a piano.
Nice giant white piano.
It's from 19...
Go back to listen to the episode White Piano from last season where Justin hates it.
Made in New Jersey, and there's 2 keys that don't work, but it's somewhat sort of in tune, but it feels amazing. Like I'm not a piano player, but since we have the piano all the time now, I'm learning how to play the piano. And then upstairs I have like a MIDI controller. Keys are plastic, there's no weight. This, you push a key and like 4 wooden arms move and it bangs 3 gigantic strings. There's just like there's something
there's a
like,
feel to it. There's
you get like this like whole
you hit that big chord,
visceral
and the ground is
yet tangible all at the same time.
Well, it's like plugging in or not. You know what I mean? You can play electric guitar, but it's not till you plug into a fucking amp.
Yeah.
And it's loud that you actually feel the instrument in your hands, With the piano, you can bang those plastic keys all day, but then you touch this, you're like, all right, I'm fucking...
actually playing.
So eventually people will hear a song that is recorded using that instrument, but probably not on a Brunch Weekly original single, unless we played it out and cheat a little bit to our rules.
Yeah.
So
actually, we could just do a song down here with just that...
Like a snare and a hi-hat.
Like and actually do a live
song?
We could do that.
We could do it.
We could practice that,
yeah. I'm down with that. I definitely would be up for that. Now, how long is Funky Little Christmas?
4:17.
4:17. So I think this is about the longest of the season, right around there. We might have had 1 or 2 that are around 4.5, 4 something.
If you take out all of rubbish.
If you take out all of rubbish, you got to take out the whole epic that we did, the Garbage Man epic. But yeah, so a little over 4 minutes here for Funky Little Christmas. Funky Little Christmas.
Yeah.
Is that how you're supposed to say it? Funky Little Christmas.
No, it's like,
Funky Little Christmas.
Funky Little Christmas.
I was saying it's a Funky Little Christmas.
No, Funkin'.
Funkin'. Oh, Funkin'
Funkin'.
Little Christmas.
Funkin'.
And is it Little or Lil?
Lil.
So Funkin' Lil Christmas.
Yeah.
Spelled out or Xmas?
No, spelled out.
Spelled out. All
I'm
right.
not an Xmas kind of guy.
You were a 2 Xmas kind of guy 3 beers ago.
I'm almost done with the balance.
Thank God we're done recording, and thank God we're about to listen to this. So here we go, guys. Our week 1 of our Christmas 2 album recording. This is Funkin' Lil Christmas. We'll see you guys in 4 minutes and something teen seconds. Enjoy. It's about that time for the cheer and wine. Get your ham with some gravy. Wrapped up in parkas and scarves. The tree will help light the dark. Ready the fire, hang stockings if desired. Christmas, Christmas, whatever your reason. Christmas, Christmas,
piano in the hallway.
The piano? No, that's an organ in the hallway up
organ.
there. Yeah, there's an organ up there. That was the reason Justin didn't want the white piano, because now there's just an organ sitting in the middle of the upstairs.
Yeah.
But the piano stayed.
I can't say no to free junk.
You can't. Well,
They have a show for that, you know.
Hoarders. Yeah, I could be on it one day. You wait.
I thought it was called White Swap.
I'm not old enough to be on
But
that.
it'd be a musician with just like millions of instruments
Yeah.
just like laying around, and then everyone just feels sorry.
That's
for
just
him.
called a collection. That's just a collection there.
I just need a bigger house. So
All
a
right,
bigger
so-
house so I can have
Because
more stuff.
shit.
Yeah.
All right, so that
My
was
whole motivation for life.
Funkin' Little Christmas, our first of 5 Christmas songs that we're going to be recording over the next month or
That came
month
out
and a
like
week.
with the brunch sound, I think.
Yeah, no, that
for
fucking
sure.
that is again the
sounds like
quickest
us.
vocals that we've ever done. They turned out pretty good, but the whole song, I mean, if you strip the vocals off, that is one of the weirdest fucking things we've ever done.
Yeah.
That is one of the most all over the place, random fucking things that we've ever put energy into, and I fucking loved it. I enjoyed it, and hopefully everybody listening did as well. It'll be available on YouTube this upcoming week, and you can just check out on Facebook and YouTube Houseboat Tommy Lee Jones for that video dropping, so you can just go around playing it all of the time and skip over the whole
you gonna make a
talking
music
bullshit.
video?
Justin always
Probably
edits
will.
together a little music video for things. It's not of us, but he works his magic and puts a little music video. This season we've been putting every single song that we do up on
Get sleigh
YouTube.
bells.
Ooh, well, we need to get sleigh bells for
we
future
do.
songs anyway. All right, so joining us now in the upstairs cam, Justin can transition them right over to the main cam, and then we'll be on the side cam.
I do. You want to point that down?
Yeah, just a little bit. The microphone just a little bit. Just so Dennis's beautiful face is not...
Just push it
Just
down.
manhandle it.
There you go. There you go. All right. So manhandling the microphone there, we've got Mr. Dominic Trimboli and Dennis Protsouk.
I'm back to clapping for the guests.
Clapping for guests. Yeah, clap for guests. We'll clap for guests. All righty. So, Dom, you've been on the show in the past, and Dennis, this is your first time joining us, so welcome to Dennis. Welcome back to Dominic. Tonight, what I wanted to... I originally was having... wanting to have Dom and Dennis, both of you, on kind of separately, and then I was like, oh, wait, you guys are both friends. You guys have a good rapport with each other, and you both live and work within the art world. So I was like, let's get these guys on together and kind of talk two different ends of the spectrum of the art world. Dennis kind of working in the the art gallery world.
The gallerist, fine art.
Yes, the fine art. I didn't want to say fine art. I didn't know if that's like a weird like thing. If people are like, oh, don't say that about like it's my.
No, I think that's
or if
like
it's
classic
like
rock, fine art, classic rock.
Or are you just like, my art is better than fine? Fuck you. It's better than fine. I make great art, not fine.
Well, art is like music.
It's subjective, man.
No, it's whatever makes people feel a certain way.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you know.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's all about. Whether it's Trimboli's tattoos that make people want to have a symbol that represents their identity, or, you know,
Or just like a sick panther.
Or sick panther.
That sick panther is my identity.
So
yeah,
Dennis is from
if you want to embody the panther.
Dennis, you were raised, you grew up, and you live and work within the fine art world, as we'll say it. And then Dom, you are a tattoo artist. So it is the same world, different ends of it. And that was my initial, okay, let's come on and have you guys talk about that. And then I realized last week that all three of us were going to the goddamn fucking Bigwig show.
Oh, yeah.
And we will talk about art. We are going to talk about art. But right off the bat, what I really want to go into is that show. For those of you who are not aware, Bigwig is a... they used to describe themselves as like a hardcore post-punk metal influence. And they have like all these weird caveats.
I would say
but
they're
they
like
are
punk crossover thrash.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are so fucking fast. He plays so goddamn fast. I've tried to cover many of their songs before, and it is my hands do not move fast enough to play anything that they can play. And so I just wind up doing an acoustic cover of the song Hope, because I can just go dun, and that's all I got to do. It's a very slow moving song. But we had this past Friday at the Sherman Showcase, Bigwig, and they're out of New Jersey. They used to play in the Stroudsburg area monthly. Like, it was almost once a month that they were playing within a 30-minute. Yeah. Well, for a while, it was weekly. For a while, like Toast era, and before Bismos with Justin, before pre-our era, Justin's era, the Triassic era, I think that was. You're old.
No, I feel like there was like a movement, No, I feel like back then there was a movement, and the bands that were
there was like a real scene.
There was
everybody moved to Philly. That is what happened. Everybody that was playing around here moved to Philly, or all the venues got shut down for either just financial reasons
stupid shit or whatever.
People get hit over the head with paint
lasted
cans.
For a while. Like,
it
went
totally
from
did.
Justin.
Pre-Justin, even early 90s, like around here to mid to late 2000s.
Like when I was
like 06, 07, it was still.
To when I moved to Philly with everyone else.
I mean, when did the music store go out? Because that was sort of like.
The music store on Main Street was around, I feel like 06, 07.
It was
I
sort
feel
of
like it was around there. Yeah, there was a hub for musical equipment right on Main Street. They were right across the street from the Sherman Theater, that music
that's
store.
been around for way before 06.
Well, can we
I'm saying that's when they left and went to
okay. But can we talk about Toast for a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that was a
Toast was a huge scene, dude. So that era was amazing, and that is where I first met Dom. That is where I first saw Bigwig play live. Bigwig, Catch-22, Split 50, the three of them, 200 plus kids crammed in the Common Decency opening.
Yeah, Whack Off Alley.
Oh my God, dude! They
White Off.
Wait, no, it's Quaker Alley. It's Quaker Alley.
That's Quaker Alley. Whack Off is the one that's next
Quaker,
to whatever the fuck Over the Edge.
Over the Edge, yeah.
Oh wait, so that's the but the intersection of Whack Off.
Wait, what is Blimpies now? Because it's not Blimpies.
It hasn't been Blimpies in a long time.
I know, but that's what I remember.
Yeah, whatever happened to that company?
Sandwich store.
Wasn't it Grandpa Pete's Bagels?
No, that was it became like an Italian sandwich shop for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then that went out. And then the building next to it burnt down, so I don't know if they have any infrastructure issues there.
But me and Trimboli lived like street rats in that alleyway, listening to punk bands. Like, they would like scrape shit off the street and throw them into Toast, and then we'd be like, oh, this is fucking awesome.
Dude, and it was. Those shows were $2 to $5, like tops. Half the time you didn't pay for them, you just went, what are they drawing on your hand today? Question mark? Sweet. An X? Sweet. Somebody get the marker. But already paid, thanks. Maybe that's why Toast in the local scene failed as well.
I mean,
that building burnt down.
The cafe during the day wasn't
really helping. Did you ever go to the cafe at Toast during the day?
Yeah, it was.
I would go and play Scrabble with people, and it was just kind of like, this is weird to get like a hot chai tea and a funnel cake or something.
Yeah, but it still smelled like the show.
Oh, it smelled like
the
show.
Before,
and you were playing Scrabble on the stage.
And somebody was probably still passed out on the couch in the back room.
And then there was the back room. It was literally like everyone just kind of called it the heroin room. It was literally like you could just like go back there and be like, oh yeah, someone's probably ODing tonight over here.
Yeah, and we're fucking like 15, 16 years old. Like,
younger than that.
We're here to see music. Where's the bathroom?
It's right next to where that guy's laying with 3 needles in his asshole. Yeah. Like, oh my God. But that scene was great, and that's where all of us kind of fell in love with Bigwig. And for this show this past Friday, that I know Ted Filicetti helped put together, if not booked the whole thing. I'm not 100% on that. We had 3 bands play, or 4 bands played the whole show, but 3 bands played that show on Friday that were a wonderful callback to that time and place that we all loved, that era of Toast. And you had 3 former members of Split 50 playing in 2 separate bands, and then Bigwig. Yeah. So, like, unless Streetlight Manifesto showed up and played with all the former members of Catch-22, it was as close as you could have gotten to that feeling. And I'll say for myself, I've not moved like that at a show since probably the last time I saw Bigwig. I don't seem to get as pumped for a live band, and probably because I saw them so often and I knew every word to every fucking song except fucking Reclamation. And I know that album, but I'm not, first 3, your Stay Asleep, your Invitation, and Merry Melodies, those guys. But they the opening band was Steve-O and the Crippling Addiction, who the drummer for that is Cliff Albert, and Cliff was on our show. They did the Mother cover. Yeah. And Cliff was on our show. Well, his girlfriend was on our show 2 weeks ago promoting her podcast, But What Do We Know? It was Marissa. Yeah. And Cliff was on back in January. So it's really sweet to get to see him play, and to see him play in more of his vein of playing, because I know he's played with the Stargazer movies. But Cliff
back
used to be...
in the day when
he was
Cliff was
the
in
Greek
Favorites. Greek Favorites? That shit was out of...
And that was the post-2016 that still was happening.
So that was post all that shit. They were having
so
like all the shows at ESU and...
Yeah.
Well, they used to show... People used to throw
at Jesse's,
shows in foreclosed houses. Mm-hmm. You break into a foreclosed house and sew the power on.
Yep.
And I've been to shows there, like, fucking crack my head open on the fucking baseboard at one show. It's like fucking blood, like... But in house, we broke into it.
But that's how most shows are. Like most shows for artists up and coming, they don't have the platform. They don't have the resources. They don't have the capability of being in some grandiose venue or some
people's
or even a mediocre venue or that matter.
Just venue.
I mean. Toast was a mediocre venue back then.
Yeah, but at least they gave people a place
that was considered like middle of the line.
Sure.
Like if
that
you
was
played
like
Toast,
Grandma's
you were
basement.
happy.
Like she was upstairs, like senile, and everybody was just.
I was gonna say, in hindsight, the fact that we all loved the scene so much brought it from being a shithole to mediocre.
But it makes people feel like they're a part of something.
Sure.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And it's that small, intimate room, which is why at first when I found out they were playing it, it was the showcase, not the main stage. I was like, oh, that's a little weird. And then I was like, at the show, just going, oh no, this is right. Like, this is how it should be. It should be 100 people crammed into one room listening to this music. So again, you had Steve-O and the Crippling Addiction. They played. The second band was The Crowning, which was featuring for this performance, at least I don't know if he's fully in the band, but a friend of mine, Danny Cruz, and then Ace Hendricks is playing drums for them as well. Okay. And then and those guys were a little bit like after like that scene time, and definitely in they were great for their sound. It just definitely was a stand out from the sound of a punk rock show.
Sure.
They're more in that rock. They're not at all. And if you've ever seen Ace play in pretty much any band that he's played in the past, he has a very specific style and a very specific avenue that he goes down. And it was a welcome addition to the show. I'm glad that there were 4 local bands, because Bigwig I still consider a local band. But they stuck out a little bit on the show. But that even harkens back to a Toast show when you would have a ska band, a punk band, an emo band, and then a hardcore band playing.
Having just punk bands play over and over.
Number 3?
No, 2.
Number 2, all right.
This stuff's heavy.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So the Crowning played, and then the third band that played was Don't Panic, which recently reunited after about like 6-7 years. Bless you.
Wait.
They. Bless you on that.
I hope it got that, dude.
I don't see
how
it
didn't
didn't
sample that.
Are you writing your new bass line?
Yeah, that's his bass line.
Well, we're gonna sample that and turn it into a synthesizer.
That sounded like a bass sounded like a mortician record.
Oh, Jesus!
In slow motion.
Deep cuts. So Don't Panic played. It has Ted Filicetti was in there. He's the lead singer, writes most of the songs for him and everything. And then their bass player is Keith, who is also the former bass player of Split 50. So before anybody showed up, there was a moment where Ted, Keith, and Steve were all standing there talking about something technical, and I'm looking at. Oh my God! He felt that out here. The fart. Oh God! Jesus Christ!
Your subwoofer must be way up.
Oh, he's listening on a phone, so that's a pretty effective fart.
Oh man, then I just blew out everyone's eardrums.
Oh, maybe he's listening on speakers. That'd be great. Woke up Lucy's grandma. But they
wake up, grandma, and shit my pants.
Did somebody fart? But there was a moment where the 3 of them were standing at the stage and they were just kind of like looking at, like, talking about something, and I was like, holy, like, this is just weird. Like, there is the 2 former bass players, like the guy who was the bass player for Split 50, who dishonorably was discharged from the band, Steve-O, and then Keith, who replaced him, are standing there, and Ted, and I was just like, yeah, this is what the fucking scene's about. Like, literally, like, that's 15 years ago, and it was scene drama back then. But it was just the coolest thing that, like, there are these people that are, for a lack of a better term, or really just to honor the term, they're fucking lifers in this shit, man. They're all approaching different things, maybe outside of music, doing whatever they have to do to get by on a daily basis, but they are still out there at, I don't want to guess their age, but they're probably, younger than Justin. Probably. But they're mid-30s, and they're all just fucking rocking. And both bands, I mean, the Crippling Addiction and the fucking...
Late 30s. You're not that old, Justin.
Maybe,
don't worry.
Maybe early 50s.
You're still a millennial. That's good. You can cling to that.
Yeah, we're in like 76.
An honorary millennial.
Well,
I got a badge, damn it.
Me and Justin will only be in our 30s at the same time.
For what?
2 months.
2 months? Yeah, let's say 2 months. Yeah. That's crazy. Robbing the cradle, Justin. Jesus Christ.
Man. Yeah.
Because all the sex you have.
There were literal 50-year-olds in the mosh
pit. Oh, dude,
though.
exactly. So, like, we had... I mean, I think the literal 50-year-old you're talking about is Mean Mark Miller, but so he's a literal 42-year-old.
Was Mark there?
Mark was there. Scott was there. A really good turnout.
Somebody stopped me and said, I'm 50.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like...
Split 50!
Yeah, that should be the only reaction there.
Yeah.
But either way, so all the opening bands, it was a great setup to the actual set from Bigwig. I don't remember what songs they played, in what order, anything along those lines. All I know is that there was maybe one song that I didn't know the words to, and it must have been a song off Reclamation that I'd only heard a handful of times.
That's the only album I know by them.
Reclamation?
Yeah.
That's strange to me.
Well, no, I know the other stuff, but that one was the best one to me.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's not a bad album. It's just not the
I like
classic.
it because there's more metal.
Yeah, definitely got more metal there.
Metal.
Yeah. But they
started
started playing
War Ensemble, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
look,
you
were
yelling
shouting
that.
Yeah, they were bummed.
I don't care. They should have
I'm
played
not
it.
sad about
That's
it.
a great song too.
There were a couple people shouting out different songs. Miranda at one point, she was like right up close and getting like a good like camera shot, like and getting shoved by everybody in the pit like as they went by. But at one point, I think he goes, "All right, what song do you want to hear next?" And she just looks down at the set list, looks up, and goes, "Sink or Swim," and he just looks at her like. Yeah, and she's like, whatever. Like, someone had to do it. And then, I mean, like I said, I've not moved that much. I don't know if I've ever moved that much in a pit. I never really was a go in the pit person. I was smaller. I mean, I was fat, but I was shorter, and I had glasses, and I didn't want them to break because that happened all the time. And then, ironically, happened 2 days before this in a different way. Again, we'll get to that next season. But I was just like, oh, fuck, everybody here, pretty much for the most part, I know. They're all my friends. I have no worries that some douchebag's going to come in and start doing haymakers and karate kicks and trying to do like the I'm dancing to Every Time I Die in 2005, like, and picking up pennies
windmills
and swinging windmills. Yeah.
Wait,
so,
Mikey Meehan moves?
Yes, Mikey Meehan moves. As Bigwig would put it, the
Mikey
type of
Meehan.
jock who goes to shows to fight.
Mikey Meehan.
But they started playing, and we went. The room went fucking nuts, and there was probably only like 5 or 6 of us at first. But I know it was me, you, Cliff was in there, and a couple other people just
was in there?
You were in there? You were in there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You got in there in your fucking brown leather jacket. Like,
Well, it started off.
the boy in the brown leather jacket.
I was like, God
It
damn.
started off, and I'm wearing my wool winter coat, a hoodie, and a thermal shirt because it was freezing outside.
Listen, you can only
And I
drown
just
in
kept
nostalgia so
throwing-
much.
I just kept throwing shit, like taking shit off and throwing it to the side at some dude's feet, just being like, "Watch my shit," and just like kept throwing it. And we went nuts. At one point, they started playing. God, I forgot. They started playing one song, the one that go.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, let's.
Is that the music from
Force I do
Pitfall?
believe in what's right. Fuck your rules, fuck your schools, fuck your...
yeah.
I gotta go through the whole song till I get to the point. But they start playing that, and I hear it, and I was like, whoa! And I just start doing the obnoxious walk back and forth thing, spreading my arms, like pushing everybody out of the way.
Yeah, you
like
gotta feel
getting
the
ready.
pit out, dude.
Just feel the pit, get everybody ready. All right, here we go.
Till you
And
get
then
that whitewash.
I
dude,
turned
get so
around
fitted.
and just like started like throwing my arms. I almost run into our buddy Will Savinsky, and he's just kind of like, don't pull me in, and I just like squeeze his face like, you're a beautiful man. I just like went back, and all of a sudden I get pulled, and I turn around, and it's fucking me and Mark Miller, and Mark's there, and then Scott's there, and then you're there, and then you're there, and every single, I'm like, this is the only people I can't immediately recognize as like and know their name are people that I'm like, oh, I used to see you at shows. Like every single person, it was like everybody out of the woodwork just showed up, and it was fucking wonderful. It was, again, like you're talking about nostalgia. You really, I mean, I will drown in that nostalgia. That was fucking wonderful.
Yeah, dude, I feel like I was 16 again.
I moved more than I probably did at that age, and fucking had a blast. And probably one of the best parts of the show for me was when he goes, all right, we got one song left. And then everyone's kind of like, oh, boo, whatever. And then he plays the song, and at the end, instead of leaving the stage, going downstairs, waiting for encore call and coming out, he just walked us through basically what he goes, all right, this is the point of the show where we like leave the stage, we go downstairs, crack open a beer, we're sitting down there, we're like, Strasbourg deserves one more, all hands in, and we all put our hands and we go 1, 2, 3, Bigwig, and we come, all right, fuck it, we're back on stage. And so he, instead of leaving the stage, just did that, and then he played like 6 more songs. And probably the best thing that come out of his mouth, other than the lyrics that he wrote, at one point he just turned and was just like, I don't want to fucking get off the stage. Like, I don't want to go home. And it was just that, I think that feeling for everybody in the room was just like, this is perfect. Like, it's you don't want to be someone who's trying to recapture your youth all the time in like a weird, sad way. But that was just a room full of all of us just going, no, not recapturing our youth, just regaining something that we haven't had in a while.
Right.
And it was fucking awesome. Like, it was fucking epic.
Great. You want to hear the craziest thing about that? Always. Night, that drum kit has not been touched for 2 years.
Which drum kit?
I think it was Rob. Rob's his name?
Yeah.
That drums for Bigwig?
The current drummer? I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
He hasn't drummed. He literally hasn't touched a drum kit in 2 years. That was his first time drumming.
Really?
No way.
Because I know
they didn't even practice. How do you know that?
Nothing. They just played the show.
Yeah. Because they just know the shit that well.
That's
like,
insane.
And they didn't lose a beat.
I wrote a song tonight. I can't play it. Can play it at all.
And I think that definitely.
What kind of musician are you, Zach? The fucking forgetful kind.
There's something to be said for.
If I don't practice the night before the show.
Yeah. Within a 9-year span. Within a 9-year span, they released 4 albums. They released 4 albums, and those are the only 4. 97 and 2006. That is the only albums that they've ever recorded and released. And it's been 13 years, and he hasn't played in 2 years. So for the 11 years, he was only playing those songs anyway. So 11 years drilled into his head.
I'm not to take away from it, because that's fucking impressive.
Well,
as hell,
he was
but, like,
so fast.
Thrash.
It is thrash.
It is thrash.
And he, don't want to take away from it at all. But at one point, Tom turned around to him, the lead singer of Bigwig, Tom Petty, turned around to him and was just like, basically, are you good to keep going? He's like, yeah, man, however more you want to do. And he was like, fucking this guy over here, like, holy fucking shit. And I know he kind of has like a hired gun situation where he gets who can tour with him at that point, people that know it, people that have played with him in the past or just know the music really, really well. But he, like, orchestrates and holds that thing together so goddamn fucking perfectly. And I literally went the next day to see Billy Corrigan at the big room at the actual Sherman Theater, and the whole time I was like, I'm glad that I get to sit down because I'm sore from last night, but last night was way better than this could ever even possibly be.
Dude, you want to hear something fucking crazy? So I posted a video from this show, from the Bigwig show. My friend Johnny, who's from Chicago. I'm surprised he even knew who Bigwig was.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me,
it's a local band.
Yeah, for me, it's a local band, but I forget that, like, they played on MTV and shit, you know?
They were on MTV. They still play in, like, Canada. They go out to the West Coast. Like, they're a recognized name in that scene.
Yeah, my buddy Johnny, he told me, he's like, you know, like, in where I'm from, like, we would always have arguments. There would always be, like, one sect of, like, the music scene that would argue that Bigwig is the best band ever against Weezer.
Whoa!
And I'm like, you guys need to lay off the fucking Malort or something.
Yeah,
lay off the Weezer, bro.
Stop giving each other handshakes. Stop giving each other all those Chicago handshakes. And fucking, that is a weird, like, okay, I will say.
Apparently it was a thing, like, Bigwig was a thing in Chicago.
I will say that at the time that I was into Bigwig, Weezer was my favorite band on the face of the planet.
I mean,
Pinkerton, Blue Album were out, and then Green Album came out, and I loved that. And it was both albums that I was listening to constantly at the same time, so it's weird that Chicago picked those two because neither of them are from Chicago.
Yeah, but they're so different. How could you even compare them? One's a thrash band and one's a fucking like
a guy who really likes metal.
That's what I was.
Yeah. Maybe I had some interest in metal at one time. You know.
I mean, Rivers Cuomo is a metal dude. He records guitar for like Limp Bizkit back in the day and shit like that. Like he played people's stuff. But he was not in that type of band. He was in an alternative rock radio friendly band. And if you had ever heard a Bigwig song on not college radio, it would be the weirdest thing ever. If you were just like listening to the fucking Bone and they're like, all right, here's off of Reclamation, and they played a song, you'd be like, what the fuck just happened? You would call 18 people.
Dude, if I even saw like the Girl in the Green Jacket video on MTV, I would be like, this is not cool.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's weird. I'm not there.
I don't want my MTV. It's just not the same to me.
It's sick though.
There's nothing wrong with the video. I just don't want to see no dumb game
It's
show.
cool that like we were so young. We had that like disconnect that they were like the local band.
Yep.
And that's all we saw them as, but they were still the biggest band in the world to us.
And the show on Friday kind of reminded, I think, from his reaction, it seemed to remind him of kind of like, all right, like, we used to come here all the time, and we were huge here. Like, they were, for a while, if you saw a show...
humble beginnings.
Yeah.
But
we loved, like, we genuinely loved them. You would go see them, like, you mentioned the Common Decency
before. That was the big scene.
Will's old band, Wasteland
Babies.
Will Saminsky was he was the guitar player, lead singer for that, with Will McGrath.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fucking Straighten Upright.
Straighten Upright. Our super producer, EJ5000, he produces this show. It is his band. We actually played them
The Fallen Policy
on the episode with Dom.
TFP, bro.
So many. I mean, even like my good buddy Skip.
Man.
Let's see, there are paper towels on the table in there if you want to get there now. If not, the cat can probably get it. We should just put them on Justin's desk. Usually that's where the beer usually winds up spilling. It's been about a month and a half.
It has been a bit of...
Yeah, everyone's leaving. Everyone's leaving.
It's me and you, Kyle.
All right, it's me and Justin.
You know
I'm
what?
the only one on camera.
You had something written up that I want to bring up now real quick. Disney Plus, dude.
Disney Plus. All right, so we're done talking about Bigwig. Then we're going to talk about Disney Plus for a little bit.
Real quick.
All right, Zach's back.
I don't know, it's just been a binge watching of...
You've been binge watching. What have you been watching on the Disney Plus?
All kinds of weird shit, man.
All right, what do you say is the weirdest thing? What is the weirdest thing that you were drawn to? Maybe because it's super fucking old, or it's fucking just something you never saw that you went, oh,
some of
fuck, I'm gonna watch this now.
The cartoon, like Guardians of the Galaxy and shit like that.
Oh,
There's some really rad fucking artwork.
I haven't dove in so much to the Marvel side of things that
no,
that's
definitely
on
check
there.
Some of that stuff out.
Definitely need to check that out. For me, I immediately Darkwing Duck was the first thing that I put on once I logged in. My brother Keith got the subscription, and I was lucky enough to get the password from him because I'm a poor guy, and or just a cheap guy. Or both. And so I watched Darkwing Duck, and it was fucking wonderful. But then yesterday, I was really fucking sore from, again, the thing that will be spoken of later on.
The Calamity.
The Calamity. We'll call it the Calamity. So, the Calamity, and then having the show and everything like that this weekend. I was fucking beat, was like hard to move, really. And I was like, I just need to, like, I woke up super fucking early because I couldn't stay asleep. I wasn't comfortable. And I was like, I'm going to go on the couch, sit in the recliner, fall asleep in the recliner, watching just anything. So I go on Disney Plus. I start, nice. Was that an armpit? I think that was a whole armpit there. But I put on a movie that I have seen before. I watched when I was a kid. And I didn't realize how much it was probably one of my favorite movies growing up. Oh, no. Don't rip all that out. Zach's ripping out his hair.
Armpit hair.
Oh, that was armpit hair?
Yeah.
Oh, gross. I almost smelled it.
I gotta do this side.
Keep it. Jesus Christ! Just ripping out armpit hair. Jesus. But a movie
Put in
that
the ashtray.
I had on VHS growing up, and we watched a lot with the family. My mom really liked all like the classic Disney, like 1950s, 1960s, like Shaggy Dog.
The Steamboat
and
Willie shit is really cool. That's on there.
That is really sweet. I'm happy. I haven't watched it, but it's really sweet that is available. That they went that far back with it.
Yeah.
But I watched the 1960s or the 1960 version of Swiss Family Robinson.
Okay.
Oh, I love that movie.
It's so goddamn
I love
good.
it. I love it.
It is so fucking good.
Actually, Justin was scrolling through it the first day, and I was just like, fucking Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah,
I love that
forgot
shit.
how much
So
I
good.
thoroughly grew up watching that, probably once a week for like a long stretch of time.
I can't wait to go back and watch Bed Knobs and Boobs.
That was right next to
that
it.
too,
That was right next to it on the scroll. And that was another one that was
Which
like...
is crazy. Those movies are from the 60s?
Well, Bed Knobs is 70s, I believe, but 1960, and for Swiss Family Robinson, and it stars the brothers from Old Yeller, the two guys who played the brothers in Old Yeller. They were also in the Shaggy Dog. This is when Disney would contract somebody for however many years or however many films, and they would just get put in everything. The middle brother in Swiss Family Robinson was part of the original Mickey Mouse Club. His name was like Tom Kirk, something like that.
Tom Cruise.
But he was, or that movie was just
Crown
like a
Tree.
fun adventure movie. But the jealousy of that treehouse growing up, like all I wanted was that fucking treehouse.
Dude, last time I have a story about that involves that original Swiss Family Robinson.
Yeah.
Okay, I was living in L.A. with a band. We played a show that night.
Okay.
And we had a sound guy for the show. It was like a big... It was a house party on 420.
Oh, damn.
And we were...
California.
And we smoked a lot of the herb.
In the city.
And we had played our set already, and people were wild. Yeah, I mean, I was a kid. People were wild about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we were like, let's go get some pizza, because there's no pizza at this party. So we fucking went
Party without pizza.
We went to drive out, and I hit 2 cars on the way out with my
Jesus
car.
Christ.
And I just like fucking
Kept going.
like, yeah, security guards and everything there. We just went, and then we told our manager that I was like, I hit 2 cars in the fucking where all the party cars were parked, and so him and the sound guy packed all our equipment up.
Oh, wow.
Because I
So
left.
this is like the most intricate
I
hit and
ran,
run of all
yeah.
time.
I ran, but all our
You had a packing crew.
all our equipment was there. So
You
I was
had
like,
roadies
we
take
were
care
like, we
of
can't go
shit.
back. So the manager and the sound guy packed all the equipment, but some shit got lost in the shuffle. Like I don't know,
Like a couple lives.
no, like a couple
people got
mic
shuffle.
stands or whatever.
Yeah.
That the sound guy ended up actually taking with him, whatever. So I had to go to the sound guy's house the next 2 days after to pick up the whatever little things that got mixed up in the shuffle.
Yeah. Did he live in a treehouse?
And he lived behind Dodger Stadium.
Oh.
Nice.
In
Behind
Los
Chavez
Angeles.
Ravine?
Is that what
Yeah,
it's called?
Chavez Ravine.
Well, it's a huge,
Yeah.
big ass field, right? And so I walk in his house to get the shit, and motherfuckers watching the old Swiss Family Robinson.
Nice.
And I'm like, yo, dog. Like, this dude was like, he was in his 40s. You know what I mean? He was just a sound guy for hire.
Yeah.
He didn't want to have some fucking asshole kid come over because he accidentally took my one fucking SM50 or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
stupid. But so I was like, oh, Swiss Family Robinson, this shit's awesome.
Did you sit down and watch it with him?
Well, I watched a little bit because he had to find the shit that he took from me. So I get the shit back, and I'm like, all right, man, I gotta go. So I go, and it's just me. The rest of the band wasn't with me. Somehow I got talked into making this trip alone.
Yeah.
And I'm walking out to my car, and I'm looking out, and it's the field behind Dodger Stadium, and the sun is going down, and there's a fucking mountain lion. A fucking full-grown ass mountain lion.
And you just watched
Down
Swiss
in the
Family
field.
Robinson.
Ridiculous twist of all
Yeah.
time.
So you're like, let me take a
At
picture of
first,
that shit.
I think
Has nothing to do with anything.
He's 3
a fucking
Ballantines
mountain
in.
lion.
At first, I think it's a cat, a house cat, because it's far enough.
Are you confused a house cat with a fucking mountain
it's
lion?
far enough away that I'm like, because I was this guy.
That it
I
wasn't gonna
fucking
maul
hit
you.
2 cars at a 420 party. You know, I was fucking smoking that weed, dude. I was high as
So it
fuck.
actually could have been a house cat.
No. So I see a cat, and I think, well, that's a cat. And I see these trees. And then the fucking cat's walking towards me, and then it jumps in the tree. I'm like, oh. And then I look at the tree, I'm like, the top branch of that tree
It's
is
a big
like
tree.
8 feet in the air. I'm like, oh, that was a big fucking cat. Like, it didn't hit me at first. It took a minute for me to realize that it was a huge cat.
Yeah.
And then I fucking got in my car and I got the fuck out of there.
So every time
you hit any other cars? So when I think of Swiss Family Robinson, I just think of that time I saw a fucking mountain lion. How fucking awesome it was.
Dude, it's a fucking
scary.
A line behind the Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
It was scary, but it was awesome.
When I was living out in LA.
422 after I hit two cars.
422.
Yeah.
After I hit two cars with my car.
Now, to answer a question in the chat here, Miranda was asking, she said, holy shit, do they actually, do they have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? They do have 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, it's a good one, too, man.
That's a great one. They have all the classic on Disney+.
They own FS.
There are certain
Fox
things
Sports,
that are not
right?
on there yet.
They own ESPN.
ESPN.
They own ESPN.
But they own
ESPN
Fox.
has its own.
They own
One?
Fox, Simpsons Fox.
Yeah, because The Simpsons is on there. You can get the Simpsons movie. And
now, I will say a big thing that's getting everybody up in arms with The Simpsons. The aspect ratio is all fucked up. So everything that's available for streaming now is adjusted to our current aspect ratio, but they are still showing you the original cut, but just cut down to the wrong aspect ratio. So you're missing about what would be on a normal, if you had a normal 30-inch TV back in the day.
A third of the fucking
You're
screen.
missing about the top 2 inches and the bottom 2 inches of the screen for the first 19 seasons or 20 seasons.
See what's weird about?
I saw a screenshot of
See what's weird about that though is other of their older movies are cut down to 4:3.
Yes, exactly.
So you get 2 black boxes on left and right.
But for whatever reason, The Simpsons is not. It's not
That's weird.
like that. Yeah. And it's actually something I recognized in Swiss Family Robinson. The last shot is a bunch of animals running down the beach and the little boy running off down the beach after the family decides to stay on the island. And in the old one, and they used to do this a lot with movies, they would just stretch the film and everything would get taller and taller and taller, and then they would go to the end.
Yeah.
So they don't do that now on these. So that one, I remember vividly watching it as a kid, and you just see the normal picture, and then for whatever reason, the stylized thing was they just stretched it. So the little boy starts off this tall on the screen, and all of a sudden he just gets stretched and stretched and stretched, and he's taking up almost the entire screen, and then it would just show the end, and that would be it. But they've also adjusted that. So there's weird things, but The Simpsons are pissing off a lot of people. It's pissing off a lot of people that are going back and you're watching because you are missing jokes.
It's just a tactic. Disney doesn't want you watching fucking Fox.
They really
want you
don't.
watching Disney.
Yeah. Until they open up a Simpsons world, then they're really going to want you to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah, no, sure.
So you're really in on it. But yeah, so I definitely, obviously, go fucking check out Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay,
Drop beers on the floor, do whatever you want.
Your Valentine's down, bro.
Valentine's. Say, are any of them full?
No, I drank 2 of them.
So, alright.
Dude, these are special beers.
They are special beers.
Mother's milk.
They're
special.
These are special?
While Zach clings to the specialness of these beers, I do want to jump into what we originally had you guys coming on for, talk about your lives in the art world. I want to start with Dom, since we had you on before. When you started, when you first appeared on the show last August, you had just pretty much started up work within the last year before that of working in the apprentice world.
Yeah, I was apprenticing.
What is your current status as? He got fired.
My dad actually works for Donald.
Oh,
how weird is that?
Your dad works for Donald Trump?
Nah. Trump Towers.
That's probably a good job.
Government? No, so he works for Eric and Dom Jr.
You're fired. Well, he works. He actually works for the Operational Engineers Union in New York.
All right.
Okay.
Well, at least he's unionized, so he can
yeah,
have
he's
some
union.
protection
He's
there.
good, man.
He's got
You're
some
good.
protection. But you were apprenticing at that point, and at that point, had you actually physically tattooed anybody as a client, or more in hey friends type of way? Were you already tattooing people?
No, yeah, I've been tattooing for a year, full on
year at that point.
Needle to skin for a year. I've been doing it for a year and a half now.
So when you were on the last time, you had just started doing needle on skin and everything.
Yeah, pretty much. I probably had a couple clients.
And at that point, you were working with...
I was pretty green.
You were working out of Hendra's shop, correct?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Are you still there, or where are you at now?
No, I'm not. I actually have my own studio now.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
I have a studio on Ann Street.
Awesome. Woo. Is there a name for the studio?
I call it Buckley's Studio.
Okay.
Because it's my dog.
All right.
But no.
No, not a real name.
No,
not a real name.
Is it just you, or is there other people?
Just me. Yeah, just me.
I'm coming in.
Got my own spot. Yeah, come on in.
Fuck
Not
it.
for real.
Now what?
Because when Kyle's like, oh yeah, Dom Trimboli was like, see that doing us on the show?
I said before you said that. I said I know what you're gonna ask.
If you guys can figure out to get this rig into my studio, I'd be down.
We could also just bring a camera and film it and then cut it together and make a special release video and then have you on again as a guest and play the video.
Yeah, let's
for
do that.
I'm in.
Let's do that.
Let's fucking.
Because I just want to do it in a fully sterilized tattoo environment.
Understood.
I want it to be 100%.
This is not sterilized. I walked in here with shit on my shoe earlier. This is not a sterilized.
Yeah, I gotta respect the trade.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect you gotta have for tattooing.
Oh, for sure. Now, what would you say in the last year and a half of you doing the work? What has been maybe like your favorite style or maybe your favorite piece that you've been working in? I know you do kind of more the old school approach.
Yeah, I love traditional.
Yeah.
I mean, there's something about it that's like, I don't. It's just tried and true. You can't beat it, and it's.
That's why I want to do the wheel.
Shit.
The wheel.
So what we want to do, we're gonna set this up. This is what I want to do. I want to get one of those spin wheels with like...
Oh, fuck no. I'll do you better. I got dice.
No,
you roll 4 dice and you get whatever...
No, well, I wanted to get one for the show for all kinds of stuff.
All right.
Not just this, but I wanted to get that and have you make like, 4 or 5 flash pieces and we put on the thing.
Yeah. And
then we each spin, and whatever it hits is what you're going to tattoo on.
I think it should be like 3 banger pieces and then 2 just fucking awful,
but like, still well done.
Yeah. Like I'll do like a big thing in
just awful.
I could say like a big thing in tattooing right now is this thing called Sucky Panther, where like somebody tattooed this really like awful panther face.
Well, I would get the panther.
But now it's a thing. People get the Sucky Panther. Like it's like an actual piece of flash in a lot of shops nowadays.
Okay.
But people do it right. It looks good for the Sucky Panther.
Okay.
Yeah, just look it up. #Sucky Panther. You'll know what I'm talking about.
So what is within that style? What has been like kind of your bread and butter, or just like the thing that you kind of have enjoyed the most to tattoo?
Okay. Yeah, that's doable.
It's a Sucky Panther, but like a lot of people do it pretty cool, right? Like,
well, some dude did it like Yoda.
Oh, I've seen that.
Oh,
yeah.
So that's Sucky Panther.
Yeah.
That's like a meme tattoo.
Yeah. Oh,
dude! Sucky Panther, dude!
MF dude?
That's the coolest shit I've ever seen.
That's insane.
Alright, so we gotta figure out.
There you go.
Or we do like 3 cool flash, 1 Sucky Panther, and then 1 just straight up dick.
I want a Sucky Panther, dude.
Zach just wants that.
I gotta figure out what kind of Sucky.
I'll tell you.
I'm thinking right here. Voltron Sucky Panther.
All right.
There you go.
I'll draw it up. Let's do it.
All right.
For real though, not even for the show. Drawing up Voltron Sucky Panther. I like.
Just wants it.
All right.
I love Voltron. All my tattoos are pop culture. I want to fucking.
Dude,
this is a really good one.
I want to fucking Voltron Sucky Panther.
Oh wow!
Damn. Now I would say if we're gonna do that, I would like to say maybe one spot on the wheel because I don't want to just. I mean, you have to. You can go get that on your own. One idea for a tattoo that you told me years ago that you wanted to get. And I've thought about it, and I've always been like, oh, that's a really funny idea for a tattoo. You wanted to get the lion's head lion tattooed on you with a banner that said PA all day.
No, thank you anymore.
Yes.
My friend Lou has one on his neck right here.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I was going to say, that needs to be part of the wheel, so you need to design it for us. You need to design a PA.
I will never do that. I wouldn't do that to a friend. If a friend said, I want the lion's head logo tattooed on me.
I was going to say, you were probably like 22 when you said it.
Yeah, that'd be sick in high school, but now...
No, not...
Just get a lion.
What about
a lion?
But why not a
what
puzzle
about
that's
the bottle cap? Yeah, I was going to say, what about the bottle cap?
The puzzles are sick.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of buddies that did that. My buddy Bobby has one that socket to him, which is sick because he boxes now. He's a boxer, so it makes sense.
Jesus.
But yeah, I'll do bottle caps all day. Bottle caps is a cool idea.
Fuck yeah! All right, so
I just want to tattoo a
just bottle caps.
Yeah, bottle cap necklace.
Have the outline.
So
with like a rosary, but it's bottle caps.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Mother Mary of our Saint Valentine.
Our Saint Valentine.
Yeah, dude.
Jesus
the
Christ.
Valentine.
2016.
Yeah. Give me a Valentine tattoo.
Is it
Where's the
2016
Give me the
vintage?
3 rings.
I think it's Valentine. But
Give me those shits.
yeah, but all right. So you're working out of your own place off of Ann Street in Stroudsburg, doing more of the traditional stuff. Is what is your kind of like your plan, your trajectory for yourself? Are you sticking within that style? Is that what you want to make your thing?
I like branching out. I like doing other thing like black and gray work. I really want to start doing. I've always had a knack for like lettering and script and stuff, so I'd be down to like branch into that type of thing. But
how about mathematical equations?
I mean that's lettering.
Yeah,
so,
I was thinking about that. Would it be cool if you had like a whole bunch of mathematical equations that aliens could understand? Because they say if you're the first contact, if as a human, if you're the first contact,
but how would you know what their mathematical equation is looking for?
Well, because
if you can draw a
math
triangle,
is universal.
If you can draw a triangle,
but that Pythagorean theorem is universal. If there's any civilized spacefaring civilization, Pythagorean theorem, regardless of what they call it, is a geometric principle that is true.
Yeah, but what if geometrics are skewed on a different planet, given different constrictions of gravity and everything else?
If you took a triangle, this line equals this line plus this line.
I understand what you mean.
I mean, I'm not a scientist, but from what I've read and heard, that a lot of things we think about physics, the very basics of physics and geometry are universal.
But if the natures and laws of physics change on a different planet,
Like
we don't know if they do.
Then that's going to skew
everything you're saying, if the little green men show up and they're not little green men, they're just the crystalline entity from Star Trek Next Gen that shows up, and it's just this weird thing that absorbs.
But they say you want to prove to whatever other intelligence you meet
that you're not a dumb monkey.
Is somewhat comprehensive in the laws of physics. We may not understand as much as they do. Obviously, we probably won't.
If they got here,
if they come here, but we want to be able to, without being able to speak a similar language at all, be able to get across the point that we are a mathematical civilization that can understand and process mathematics.
If you're not going to be made of gold or resources, they're not going to give a fuck about your mathematical
equation. That's why I have gold teeth, dude. That's how they're playing.
That's the only reason why they're going to come down here.
Why do you think that gold or any resource on this planet is the resource they're looking for to
Well, I'm not saying that's
gold,
what it is.
Gold reflects radiation, so all our spacecrafts, windows have gold in them.
Listen, our planet could be made of shit.
Gold is literally the most valuable resource.
And that's just because it's pretty and shiny.
But what I'm saying is,
with the radiation, with blocking radiation, it makes sense that anything that travels through space would want to avoid direct radiation to them.
Unless they thrive off of it.
Well, no. My point being is, maybe we haven't had alien contact because alien contacts were looking through a bunch of fucking planets and they're like, oh, here's Earth. They're like, oh yeah, there's nothing worthwhile here. Move on.
I believe
Swipe right. They're like a Tinder for fucking like figuring out whether we're worthwhile.
They don't need water or sand or dirt. So they're just like, we're
like Yelp.
I think what you're saying
planetary
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That we have not advanced far enough as a civilization, and that's what happens in Star Trek.
Yeah.
We don't. What you guys Trekkies at all?
Actually,
I dabble in the
Trek.
All right, so
I had an old TV when I was growing up, and all I had was 13 channels, and all I watched was fucking Star Trek's Deep Space Nine.
Star Trek's sick.
I liked it. I like the guy with the fucking crazy ears, whatever the fuck his name was.
Fully automated gay space communism. That's what it was.
Globalism, bro.
It sort of was. It was globalism.
Well, I mean, that whole idea, we don't have to go too far into
But
that.
it
That
was
whole
like-
idea
it-
is like
but-
the second an alien shows up, we
But
all
this-
just go, fuck the blinds, fuck the borders, fuck the boundaries.
It's
more
like,
big
well,
words.
it's us versus them.
Let's focus on the social issues, not the things
It's
that are going to
finally
kill
like,
us.
Oh,
wait,
collectivism.
you're black and I'm white, but we're both still human and we're fighting the goddamn fucking Klingons. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like, there's
a reason they're cleaning out.
Yes. There's a reason. There's a reason. Oh. All right, before we go too far down the Star Trek hole, because we will, me and Zach will go down this hole forever. Because before we even started talking about Star Trek, I said crystalline entity, and that's super, super
This all came from tattooing.
Yes, tattooing.
Yes.
That's the way the show works. That's the way the show works.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I want
welcome-
stupid
We're all
welcome to the
insane.
show.
All right, so Dom, you're in the tattoo world, but Dennis, as we were saying earlier, you are in the fine art, the gallery world. What is
Gallery art world.
Gallery art world? What is your basically what do you do within that? Because I've known you for however long I've known you.
Yeah.
I know that you're a talented artist in your own right, and I know that your dad is a talented artist in his own right. But I've always just kind of been like, I don't really know what Dennis does. Like, I don't know what his life entails, and I'm always interested to learn more about friends.
Well, we have an art gallery. It's me and my father. My father's an established artist, and he.
That's a light term. Established.
Well,
He's
no,
fucking doctor
Well,
art.
Of art.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, he's from the Soviet Union.
Yes.
Okay. And I was born there. I was born in Latvia, which
Okay.
is a small Baltic country. And my father went to St. Petersburg Imperial Academy of Art, which is also called the Repin Academy of Art, and which is a classically trained school that was established in the late 17th, early 18th century by Catherine the Great. And what she did, because...
Is that the one that fucked horses?
No, but she was a German, actually, which is kind of weird.
So maybe she fucked horses.
No. Well, go on.
These
Germans.
These are the SARS?
Hey, that's my people. I've
The
admitted
SARS?
to it.
Peter the Great died, and then Catherine the Great took over Russia.
Their last name was the Great? That's cool.
Well, the only reason that the Great ever gets added is because of...
It was actually Thagriot, but they
have Alexander the Great or anybody who else is the Great. The only reason they add the Great, there has to be a significant there has to be a significant cultural contribution to a nation or a people.
So when can we start saying Kanye the Great?
Kanye the Great?
Yeah.
Today?
Once he brings Jesus in his natural form, other than a hologram, on this fucking planet, okay?
Wait, I think Kanye already is Jesus in his natural form.
It's not in 1,000 years from now we're going to be talking about Saint Kanye?
Listen.
Yes. He drove the snakes out of Osteen.
Dude, I hate Kanye. Actually, you know what? Let's take this back for a second. Most punchable face on the planet.
Kanye West?
Fucking Kanye
All right,
West.
full circle on that.
Fuck that motherfucker.
All right.
For the record, I'm not agreeing with that.
All right, let's not digress.
Let's not digress.
From what I was
But yeah, your father.
Yes, your father.
Latvia.
No, but anyways, so
great.
We immigrated here, 1995. What happened was, in the early 90s, no one had seen much of Russian art or Soviet art because of the Soviet Union, and it was so closed off from the Western world. So there was a huge demand for it. So when my family moved over here, it was like people were super stoked and excited to see this Russian art and artist and their point of view and everything.
We said 95?
90. Well, my dad originally moved in 92.
Okay,
so me and my mom were living in Russia.
I mean, the Cold War is starting to.
No, it's already done.
Yeah. So I mean, but what I'm saying is he's coming out of that.
He's coming out of that. The era is technically called Perestroika, which means rebuild. In Russian, there's a literal translation.
Okay.
And basically, Russia and the United States made an agreement. I mean, I don't know much of the details, but they allowed people who were involved in culture, like the dancers, ballet dancers, artists, whatever, to come over. Right. So that's why my dad was allowed to come over here. He had a visa. They call it an extraordinary visa. It was based, like, if you had some sort of skill or talent,
and you were the cream of the crop of your field.
And you had some sort of contribution to culture and art or whatever. They let you come over. So anyway, so he came over here, built kind of a nest here for me and my mom.
And did he move directly to this area? Or?
I think
Jim Thorpe.
Jim Thorpe. Okay.
So Dennis, I think it should be said though, like the actual breadth of work that your father put into art. How long was he in school?
Total of 17 years.
Jeez.
Wow.
But he is a master.
Okay,
of art.
17 years until what age is that? Is that until...
So from 6? So when he was in high school, I mean, I'm writing his biography now, which is going to be published in the spring. But
God damn it! Fuck the Bigwig show. We should have just done the whole show on this.
But so like when he, basically like the way. So basically what it was is like if you're an Olympic gymnast, they train you from like 6 years old to do what you need to do.
Yeah.
So when he was like, 6, 7 years old, my grandparents realized that he was good at drawing, So they made it a point. And then like by the time he was 14, 15 years old, he was working in a local artist studio in Ukraine, which is where he's from, and then learned from him.
When was your dad born?
In 1961.
So when he was going through that was also a very big challenge.
My father.
Yeah.
That had to be a big challenge for him to even be pushed into that is sort of crazy.
Well, I mean that's the way I
don't want to say pushed into it, but having your family support that. You know what I mean?
Well, what they did, so they basically, in the Soviet Union, the way
it's
they
like the
worked,
culture though, right? Specialists.
No, but in the Soviet Union, what they did was that they basically everyone was always evaluated, right? So everybody was always looked at like, well, what are you good at? If you were shitty at school or whatever, you were put in a vocation thing, or you did labor or whatever else. If you were good at mathematics and you were a doctor or you were an artist, then they would progress you into the higher levels of education in that particular field, which happened to be art. So like my dad, like I said, was in the Ukraine studying art. He was good at it. He worked in an artist studio when he was early on. Then the artist recommended him to go on to the next school, which is like the undergraduate. And then once he graduated the undergraduate, he went to he was at the Donetsk school, then the Lugansk, which is like the graduate school.
Okay.
And then they have like in the Soviet Union they had like the elitist schools, which is like the Repin Academy in St. Petersburg, which was like the cream of the crop gets in. Like for instance, my dad loved this one artist, Yevsei Moisenko, who was a famous Russian artist. He won like a medal. This guy's had an incredible life. He was in the Red Army, fought in World War II against the Germans, got caught by the Germans, but because his wife was an admiral's daughter, because at the time, if you were captured by the Germans, you were considered a traitor, and they would just shoot you or send you to Siberia.
Sure. Oh, damn.
And because he was married to the admiral's daughter, they pardoned him, and he was able to go back to the art school, finish his degree.
That's crazy.
And then he became an art teacher, and that's what my dad studied under. And if you look at some of his paintings, they're incredible. I mean, the guy and a lot of the style and everything, and the teaching is really prevalent in a lot of my dad's early work. So what I'm saying is like my dad studied this guy. He looked at him as a hero. He actually won. My dad's teacher won, like he was like the hero of the Soviet Union or whatever, right. And so he won like all these awards and medals. So he was a very well known guy. But like apart from, but not in the Western world because, like I said before, Soviet Union was closed off for so long. Yeah.
So people here had no idea. What the
so
fuck was
anyways,
going on.
so my dad went to go study with him, but he only took it. He was an older guy at the time, and he actually died in the last year of my dad's study. But he only took in 6 students in his studio, and he had hundreds or however many applicants that they had. But anyways, so that's as the story goes. So my dad was trained from the best of the best, and now he paints what he does, and he teaches me now. So now I'm Gen 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I worked in corporate for about 10 years out of college, and I got laid off twice, and I had multiple other jobs and everything else in between. But the point is that I was just kind of like, I went to business school. I went to formal business school at Temple University. My parents, I wanted to go to art school. I graduated. I had a portfolio of artwork. Right. Me and my dad and my mom, we all went to because my mom was also an architect, and she was studied in my dad's art school together, and that's how they met. Yeah. And she's just as brilliant as he is. I mean, she could build a coliseum if she wanted. She knows all the principles of geometry and going back to what we're talking about and all that.
Yeah. Your mom's safe from the aliens, is what we're saying.
But the point, she's definitely is. Definitely
safe.
She counted to the end of pi.
But what happened was my dad was just in such disagreement with the curriculum and how the American art schools really taught art. Sure. Because you didn't have to take drawing before you took painting, and you could mix and match and whatever. There was no structure to the way it was taught. There are a few schools that do teach it that same way. I think PAFA is one of them in Philadelphia, and Yale absolutely does the old school kind of teaching if you want it. But obviously, not everyone can get into Yale.
Exactly.
Yeah. I dropped out of art school.
No, but
you said Temple. I went to Tyler.
Yeah, you say that's the school I was gonna go to. And my dad was like, "No fucking." My dad was like, "No fucking way you're going in that school. I'm not spending my hard-earned money for you to go to a half-ass art school." It's like, if you want to learn art, you come to me.
Okay, I feel good about dropping out though.
But he literally told me. He literally told me he's like, go to school for something that's practical. We're living in a capitalist system. All right, go to school for business. Learn the business thing and learn to do that game and whatever.
And kind of I can teach you art. You can learn from me. And you've learned from me. So you don't need to go into those schools. Or
let me interject real quick on this part. On this point. Is that regardless of what he did in college, you came over, second grade? Third grade?
First grade. 7 years old.
I knew Dennis since he moved here.
Yeah.
He had a fucking super Urinal. It was sick. But
nice.
This kid was drawing, concept cars in first grade that, it looked like a fucking magazine.
We're all trying to draw Tasmanian devil.
Yeah, dinosaurs and shit. He was drawing concept cars and already doing full body figures,
realized pieces.
He was doing stuff, and he was already an artist, and he was already leaps and bounds ahead of.
Well, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to draw cars. That was my thing.
Oh yeah, you were super into cars.
Yeah, I like.
You wouldn't shut the fuck up about cars.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
That's why me and Ben Jones became friends.
Yeah. How do you feel about Pixar's movie Cars? Do you think you could have drawn it better?
No.
No? Okay, good. Well, it's nice. You're not.
Listen, Pixar's got some talented artists.
Yeah,
fuck
yes,
you know, that's one of the things that me and my dad really enjoy watching is actually 3D animated movies, and it sounds kind of, I don't know, weird or whatever, but it's an appreciation for art because actually my dad told me, and this is just studying with talking to him. He wanted to make cartoons when he was younger. That was his dream. Or being a truck driver. I wanted
to go to school for computer animation. That's what I wanted to do, the whole Pixar thing. But I just couldn't afford to fucking do it.
But see, it all starts with drawing. It starts with art.
Yep.
It's the art. Mm-hmm. Because if you can't do the art and you can't do the drawing, then it's limiting you and all the other things. And that
you don't know how to render shit properly.
But going back to the art school thing, when we were touring these art schools, my dad was like, well, they're telling people to paint shit with paint on canvas, but they're not telling people what the fuck they're supposed to paint and how, what's a drawing? What's a circle? I mean, there's structure to all these things. There's a way of, if you, for instance, if you learn Photoshop to just like make, you know, band posters or just like flyers for something, and you just use the text, but if you don't learn all the tools that are within that one program,
you're not using it to its fullest ability.
You don't know what you're capable of doing. You know,
Sure.
if you don't know the tools to anything, like if you learn music and just play cover bands or like just learning tabs on the internet, you're not understanding
music.
But he's looking at the paintbrush then in that way, going like, you don't know how to use the full extent of that brush.
You don't know it.
You don't know. They're teaching you ABC 1, 2, 3, but they're not teaching you more in depth structure behind the art. Now, quick question to interject. When you were doing these tours as a prospective college student, were any of the faculty members at all aware of who your father was within the art world? And when he was expressing his disdain for certain schools, was anybody trying to like in any way kind of going, all right, you're his son, like we want you here? Like, was anybody trying to pull you off of that?
No, it wasn't it wasn't like that. Like, we weren't trying to make that a point. We were just trying to, you know, do
so
the
your
recon
dad had a
work.
very nice a recon without being exposed.
Yeah, just
is what
to
I'm saying.
see what the fuck is going on here, you know. And like that's the thing, like the schools, they like.
And they can be very objective at that point.
No. See, the whole
people sucking his dick going, we want your kid to come here.
No. This is a whole nother topic to talk about, which I won't get into, but to just briefly, you know, address what you're talking about is the fact that like this whole, you know, big college funding thing and college debt thing is like, you know, the colleges understand that the kids are like, oh, I want to be an artist. And then, like, they know that the parents are going to be paying for it, so they're like, all right, well, let him be an artist. But they're hiring, you know, and then all of a sudden the college is starting to get a bigger budget, and they're hiring other people. But they're not actually qualifying those teachers to be actual instructors.
They're
not selling
a premium product.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're just hiring, like, you know, fucking, like, the guy was a kindergarten art teacher a year ago to do, you know, a drawing class because that guy has a good reputation and he's done it for a long time, or whatever bullshit. Yeah, or whatever bullshit thing that they look at apart from that.
Yeah.
They don't look at some guy who's, you know, a trained artist that, you know.
I agree with you, because I should have never been able to get into art school. I was accepted to a pretty decent art school.
Tyler is a good art school. I looked at that school.
I was accepted to a pretty decent art program.
Yeah, because they knew you had the money to pay for it.
But now, if I look back at probably what I was doing in high school versus you were doing in high school, there's an enormous
generation gap almost
difference.
It's regardless of what you were making as a kid in high school or before or anything. They, you know, the way that they did it, like in the Soviet Union, is like, okay, they can see that you got something. They're like, all right, there's some good shit going on here. This kid like has a potential the ability to draw and do things. Yeah. So you got to start working for a serious artist. So this goes back to what I'm saying. So after leaving corporate America and getting laid off the last time, my dad has seen really good success in his own art, and he's getting older, and I've noticed that, like, you know, he wants to keep going, but he just hates dealing with the stupid bullshit that the business aspect is. It's frustrating. He wants to paint paintings. He doesn't want to fucking sit there sending emails.
Yeah. He doesn't want to do like an East Coast tour to galleries.
Like, he doesn't want to sit there like sending emails, making deals, and that, like, it takes away. It's the frustration, which I also understand from you know, like having that business stress on the back of your mind.
That is the reason that every successful art, not every, but most successful artists generally have a business manager. They generally have an
art
agent,
dealer.
a dealer, or something. Whatever your art is, actors have talent agents. Everybody, because I'm not going to sit here and try to find who's going to hire me to do this.
Exactly.
I want to be ready to go, fully preserved in what I know I can do, and produce my art for you honestly and truly, and then let some other person handle, as you said.
I mean, that also takes away from the time that
you,
he can
you want,
do
you
his
want,
art.
Listen, if the artist is doing what he's doing and is generating his success and his business and his proliferation of his work or whatever, he should just be doing that. And that's exactly the role that I filled. And me and my dad have been working for 5 years. We had a gallery on 6th Street, which was my dad's studio, which he had actually downsized. He was on Main Street at the Big Sur Gallery for the longest time before that. Mm-hmm. And when I was in high school and then going to college, my dad downsized and he just made his own studio, small gallery space. Now that we're working full time, and for the last 4 years, we're building an art business. I'm an aspiring artist, so I took the apprentice approach to it. And my dad is my teacher. He's my confidant, and he, I make drawings and everything else, and he helps me develop that. And basically, which is actually even is actually more creme de la creme than what his experience was.
Nice trill there. It's a nice trill there.
No, he tells me all the shortcuts that it took him 17 years to learn that he can lay on me in like a 20-minute kind of lesson. You know what I mean?
And there's got to be something wonderful from his standpoint. Maybe I'm projecting out of hope for me one day with my own offspring, whenever that were to happen. Being able to teach your kid everything you know, so that what you learned isn't lost, and to let them carry that on, so that then when you have your own children down the line, if they naturally show the proclivity, the want to do that, it is not a lost it's not a lost art.
Exactly.
It's not lost knowledge. And that's a big thing, like knowledge, like everything being passed down. It's the only way any of us know anything is other people. We stand on the shoulders of giants, as they say, and we look at our world, and we take what our ancestors and everybody did, and we take the next step forward. So for him, since the world that he learned in and was educated in is not existing anymore, to be able to hands-on teach you specifically, and that's got to be extra awesome for him that it's his son. But it also knowing that it's going to get passed down, and that he's going to have like the beginning of a legacy in that way, where he can just keep outpour all of his knowledge to you. And I don't know the drawings that Dom's talking about when you were a 6-year-old, but I do know that even just yesterday, man, you posted that fucking picture, the Bukowski. And Jesus Christ. I showed Justin, I showed Zach, while we were recording the song tonight. I'm like, literally, he was working on this like yesterday. I'm like, look at this thing. It's beautiful. And side note a little bit, next time we do a logo, you should make a real fancy logo for us.
Yeah.
An actual drawing.
Can you draw the picture? Can't you just tattoo it on me?
But
Can we work together? Can we make it happen?
It all.
Can I just say one more thing too? But I've known Dennis since first grade. I have never seen Dennis more engulfed in art and more like enthusiastic about art as he is right now.
Hell yeah!
So to see what he does in the next couple of years is, I think, it's going to be the most phenomenal shit you'll see.
We need album covers.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, can you do death metal album covers?
I can do any.
Wonderful. Awesome.
No, but one of the things like it's really adolescent in a way. The recent things I've been kind of learning, but it also exploring like simple geometry, which is, I want to tag it back to what you were saying, and like geometry is incredible, and it was completely overlooked I feel like in my whole educational process when I was a kid, and now I'm 32 years old and I'm an artist, but like it's something that I'm just really seriously focusing on because it's such a big part, and it's like it was like in the last month or so, it was like a missing piece to a puzzle that is my art in general, and now like I have been more cerebral than ever and developing what I've been wanting.
Hell yeah.
Like, and that's like a tool. Like, going back to what I'm saying, like my dad, because of the pragmatic attitude of the Soviet Union of teaching an artist to become an artist, and the way that they were diligent about
very rigorous,
showing the rigorousness and the tools and everything else, he's able to create what he's able to get, and everyone else is in awe because the education system allowed it to do. If you have all the tools and you know how to use your tools, you are going to become much better at what you're doing. What
you're talking about is something that is highly dying at least within this country, and that goes back to like even blacksmiths.
Well, the
apprenticeship.
Yes, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like what you're doing and the approach that your dad was taught in, and how you're being taught is legit. You are an apprentice. Just like a blacksmith would be, you would start by probably cleaning the fucking place up. You know what I mean? Like realistically, you wouldn't be touching metal for fucking years. You know what I mean? Like
no. Literally, the first 2 years that I started working with my dad, I'm just like stretching canvases
cleaning
and just like prepping them.
Exactly, dude.
And like just doing that.
Because if you don't understand the basics, just like cooking, if you don't understand how to fucking start something, you can't fucking cook a full dish correctly.
Age ain't nothing but a number. Well, you can start at any time and do whatever the fuck you want.
Totally,
you know?
But you still should go through those.
That's what I've been doing.
Have a mentor, and I think that's where the parallel is between, in this episode you've been talking about, the parallel between what he's doing and what I'm doing is there's still a very there's a huge tradition in mentorship. There is. Yeah. And you like, if you don't know your past, you're not going to have a good future.
Well, even
you have to have a solid
music,
foundation.
I have that. I didn't get better as a musician. The times when I can remember getting better as a musician were times when I played with the older cats who have been around the block.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been in multiple bands with multiple dudes.
They bring the best
the
out
age
of you.
of my father.
Well, they tell you to slow the fuck down and learn the basics.
I
first,
played
right?
with a couple guys that are my dad's age that really, lived through the 70s, all the fucking Zeppelin and all that shit. These guys that can really play.
Yeah.
And what teaches me the most about music is taking a step back and playing with these dudes that have fucking played forever and been through the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something to be said for taking something.
Well, not only that, but you're always trying to play with people that are better than you. You don't want to learn. You don't want to learn.
You have to be surrounded by people
somebody
better
that's
than
not
you.
better than you.
Well,
it's not going to do anything for you. You're teaching them shit.
Believe it or not, I like to play golf. Every time I fucking play golf with somebody that is just as good as me or worse, I have the worst fucking golf game.
Yeah.
If I go out with somebody
play down.
that is like, 10 times better than me, all of a sudden I can see myself excel a little bit because they're on the sidelines. They're like, Dennis, if you did this or you moved this or did that or fucking did that, and they're like, because that's, and I like that game. I like it a lot only because it's a game of patience. And that's exactly what
it's a game of
art
patience,
form.
But you're also in the same way as art. You're in golf. I mean, I don't play.
It's incremental gratitude.
As I call it ball golf music. Because I'm a disc golf guy.
Either way, I like disc golf too.
But in either game like that, in a game like golf, you are not. You might be playing against somebody, but you are always trying to play against yourself. The last time you played. You're always trying to better yourself.
That's the same
with music,
as writing songs or painting or doing a tattoo.
And
the number one thing
I better be as good, if not better, than the last time.
My favorite thing in the world is tattooing, and then my next tattoo, and then my next tattoo, and
I feel the same
my
way about
lines
songs.
are fucking better. And my shading's better. Like
you get better.
You always just get better as long as you're fucking constantly doing it. It's like it's the most gratifying thing.
Hell yeah!
In the whole
you got to
world.
put your mind to it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's the same as anything. Like
it is.
Like it doesn't matter. Like you guys have been. How long have you guys been doing this podcast?
I mean, we started it 4 years ago, then we took a year and a half, 2 years off, and then we came back. But I mean,
that fucking track you guys laid down tonight. It's fucking crazy that you did that in like.
If you look at the first song we wrote together for the first time when we were doing our opening theme songs every week instead of an original. So if you look at it, the improvement, and that's a wonderful thing to be able to have. And
look at the last time you were here. The song that we wrote when you were on.
That was punk AF,
dude. Come on. But it was not nearly as good as what we did tonight.
Yeah, and hopefully next time you're on, we're even better.
No, there's a funny joke in Russian. It's funnier. In English, I can't promise it could be.
Can you say it in Russian first? No, just say it in English.
I'll say it in English. No, there's a joke that says Chukcha, who's like a famous he's like a Russian like character that shows up in a lot of jokes.
Okay.
That's
he's a reoccurring.
He's
joke.
So
he's Little Timmy.
Yeah, he's like or whatever. I don't even know what that needs to be
little
called.
Johnny, like Timmy, just
anecdotal guy.
Kenny from
he's
South
like a pop
Park
culture icon type.
But anyways, it's like there's a joke that says like Chukcha he goes to the university to become a writer. And the professor asked him, he's like, Chukcha, did you read any books? And he's like, no, I came here to be a writer.
It is good. It's simple. It works. It's simple.
All right. Well, I know that we could sit here and talk for fucking 4 hours, but we are not the Joe Rogan
just means
podcast.
You'll have to come back on.
You're definitely gonna have to come back on. I mean, both of you, obviously. I love you guys equally, and I appreciate you both coming on. And again. Dom has his tattoo shop that you can find at Buckley Studio.
Daddy's gonna tattoo us on an episode.
And he's gonna tattoo us on an episode eventually.
Set it up.
And it will be my first tattoo. So there you go. I promised my first tattoo to a lot of people, but I did it on air to you. So
butthole tattoo.
Let's do it.
I want a butthole tattoo, but on my forehead.
You ever say butthole?
Yeah, I just want a butthole, but then a hole for the O. I wanted to send it to the O. Yeah, there we go.
Like the Dark Souls, the ring.
Yeah, it'll be my third eye. It'll be great. But yeah, I want to thank both of you for coming on. Dennis and Dom, both. Where can people check you out if you would like to plug yourselves on social media at all? People can check out your work and anything like that. What do we have? Instagram, Facebook, anything like that?
I have an Instagram. It is Dom DOM _ Sathanas SATHANAS. And then you can also find me on the Facebooks under Dominic Trimboli, my birth name.
Wonderful. And Dennis, for yourself?
You can find me on Instagram, Dennis, DENNIS _Andreevich, ANDREEVICH, or AndreArt.com, where you can find our gallery.
Hell yeah.
And where is the new gallery?
I'm sorry. Wait, real quick. You got AndreArt.com. Nobody else had taken AndreArt.com when you went to...
That's our domain.
That is amazing. I feel like that there is...
It's AndreIart.
Okay, all right. Maybe a little bit differently. But still, I mean, that's...
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Where is the new studio?
It's 18 North 7th Street in Strasburg, PA. It's right in Courthouse Square. Right in the heart.
I walked by where his studio used to be, and I was like, oh, no, it's not there anymore. I'm like, where did it go? Yeah. So that's good to know. So literally right in the heart of Strasburg, right where the courthouse, the jail,
we have a
Banter's Hard Cider is.
Christmas show, December 14th.
Awesome.
Cool.
From 6 to 9.
What day of the week is that? Do you know?
It's
Friday,
a Saturday.
Saturday, awesome.
Yep. So, because we don't want to do it Friday the 13th.
True.
Yeah, that's for tattoos.
Yeah, that's for tattoos.
Yeah, Dom's tattoos.
You don't want to encroach on Dom's territory over here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, thank both of you. Thank you both for coming on and being here. Again, we're gonna have both of you guys on again in the future. And I want to really quick give a big thank you to Mr. Justin Olimpeda for being here and putting everything together for us. And as always, Mr. Zachary Storman. That's probably a very accurate nickname for you right now.
Dusty Ballantine.
How many Dusty Ballantine? How many have you
I
had?
have 3 Ballantines.
3 Ballantines. So Zach is at 33%.
You were here for the Duscapades.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, the Duscapades. That's why I said Dusty Huffman earlier.
I can't
Dusted Huffman.
Dustin
Hey.
Huffman.
I like to have fun, and I love to party.
There you go. That would have been just as good as but it worked. Big shout out to our super producer EJ5000 and the guys over at our brother sister love podcast through moot.tv. Let me ask you a question. Check them out along with us every Monday on iTunes and Stitcher. Obviously, as we said before, you will be able to see our music video and song release for this week's single.
The album Christmas 2.
Christmas
by
2
Brunch.
by Brunch.
And Kyle Mocha.
Well, it's just brunch now. Just fuck it. It's just brunch.
There's going to be this. Yeah. We're definitely going to do a death metal Christmas
We
epic.
have to. We do.
I mean,
we did one last
will be
year,
a death metal Christmas epic, and there will be, I think, I'm going to just say it now.
Yeah.
We are going to redo
Yes.
Bitchin' Christmas.
Bitchin' Christmas is
We're
coming
going
back.
to do a remake of the only podcast song so far.
Yep, we've never redone a song. We're going to come back.
We're going to remake Bitchin'
So it's already
Christmas.
written, so if we give ourselves 3 hours to rework a rewritten song, we'll still be going till 9:15 on it.
Christmas too.
Christmas too.
That's my thing right now.
We will be back next week with our week 2 of Christmas 2 singles.
Yes,
and a big thank you to everybody for joining us live on YouTube, everybody for listening in the future. Make sure, again, check out Let Me Ask You a Question, White Wasabi, another podcast I haven't mentioned in a while, Not Movies. Our buddy Sean Araujo has a podcast where they come up with different movie ideas every week. And the latest
really
episode
cool
has Eric and Anthony from Let Me Ask You a Question on it. So definitely go check that out as well. We will be back next Tuesday, again, for week 2 of our Christmas music. And maybe there'll be a guest. One plug. What we got?
One plug. It's the holiday season. Go to Main Street Jukebox, buy a record.
Fuck yes!
Fuck out of Tom and Main Street
I love
Jukebox.
Tom at the jukebox.
Or buy art.
And buy art.
Buy
You got a
art.
tattoo.
Buy
Art,
art.
music,
Yeah,
get
get a tattoo.
tattoos.
All that shit.
Shop local,
Andre
motherfuckers.
Gallo.
Shop local,
Andre
guys.
I'll sell you some meth.
What, even South Dakota? Have you seen those? We'll talk about it later. All right. Go to South Dakota if you need meth. We'll be back next week, guys. I'm on it. Have a great rest of your week. Here is our closing theme song, as always, to play us out. Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.
What does that mean to play us out?
Have a good one. Fuck it! Fucking thing's broken.
Yeah.
Moot.tv.
There's nothing more egomaniacal than singing the theme music for your own show. Who am I? Kelsey Grammer. If I could only drink like him, we're gonna